We got Foulmouth C from Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. And my boy KB should be here from the Firehouse a little bit later on. And we got a bunch to talk about. So let's get it cracking. Yo, Nomaniacs, Super Nomaniacs, and all in between. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night. And tonight, we're gonna have a full house, man. We got my guy over there to the right, Foulmouth C from Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Just now making acquaintances with him, and I like him already, man. The guy is just we in the background having hella conversation, and it's fun when people are as passionate as you. I'm listening to experience. I'm listening to passion. Listening to a whole lot when I'm listening to this guy from Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. And I'm glad you're here, man, because we got a bunch to talk about. We got the Kyler Gordon news. He just became the highest paid slot corner in the league. We got the Justin Fields commentary from Esquire. We got conversations about polls, man. We got a bunch of stuff that I got listed here to talk about. Plus, we'll do a little mock drafting for you all. Have a little fun with that. Because I got a certain way I want to look at it. I want to focus on. So if you guys seen the first thumbnail, you had a sense it was going to be a 7th round mock, but you also had a sense it was going to be about the trade back. To me, the sweet spot in this draft, and I've said it, and I'm gonna keep on saying it, is in that from the 2nd round and beyond, from that 2nd to 5th round. That's where all the goal is to me. So we just gonna have a hell of a conversation about that and a whole bunch more. So without further ado, let me shut my damn mouth and pass the rock over to Canada to my guy Kids. Talk a little bit, man. Let's get it on.
Hey, man, it's Sunday. We're doing the darn thing as per normal. Hopefully you guys are out there rocking with us. Give a little bit of love to the homie Foulmouth C just for coming through. We're having a good little chop it up there in the back. Well, I think we can probably pick up in and around where we left off and give the guys a little bit of insight. Big shout outs to the immortal Nudge. Shout outs to you, sir. Thanks for coming through. Cornelius Squalls, number 2, no maniacs out there doing the darn thing. Same thing with Ron C. I know more homies will filter in as we continue through. But like I say, it's Sunday night. We multi-streaming at Kez the Canuck as well. You can catch me out there. Give me a like, share, subscribe, and then come right back to Nomad Network and and chop it up in the chat. There's Smitty Q. See, like I'm telling you, folks will start filtering through. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, man. So let's pick it up where we left off. So we were just talking about Ryan Poles, and Foulmouth came through, and he's like, "So, kids, what do you think, man? Where's your head at with Ryan?" And I told him, as per normal, I was ready to throw Ryan out the window at the beginning of this season.
He had me fighting for the guy, man, because Kev was on his head, dude.
I was finished. I was done. Shout out to you, Paul. Good to see you, Paul Rodriguez. Thanks for coming through. I said, I was finished, but they retained him, and I don't pay the checks around here, so you know what I'm saying. The check was cut. The check was cut. Ryan is back, and let me tell you, like I told C, I'm with it. I think everything he's done so far was fantastic. He got us the top coaching prospect, and just looking at the way that the roster of coaches alone that have sort of come through as for 2025, just a beautiful thing to look at. But that's just the beginning of it. Then you get 2 Pro Bowlers on the line. You get yourself a center at 26 years old that you can grow with. You back up the center position. You got a couple wide receivers. He ultimately put himself in a position where he's not beholden to a position, right, going into the 2025 draft. And if that's the case, Ace is wild. You can select whatever you want with that 10th pick. So I can't wait till that draft pops off.
You know what, kids? I think where C was going when we was having this conversation in the back. I think this is where you can correct me, C. Mm-hmm. I think he's going towards the fact that once you become the GM and you put your faith, there's a whole lot of trust and faith involved in being the GM and hiring the right coach, somebody that you just got to believe in, and hopefully he gets the results that you think he can get. And so again, I keep telling people all the time, getting the talent ain't a job he does in the closet by himself with the mops and the buckets and stuff. He's basically doing that for the coaches. and the coaching staff. So they basically teeing up everything Ryan Post is doing. So this is what you need. You need a slot corner. You need a safety. You need this. You need that. Okay, I agree with it. Let's go get it. But all the time he gets all the blame for what ain't going right in the last couple of years. It ain't his fault that the ingredients haven't come together in the pot and it tastes funny. You know what I'm saying? See, it's just that's just the way it goes, man. The talent is on the roster. It's about putting it together, making sure the meal tastes right, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like we were talking about in the back. I said the consensus has been around the NFL. You go on Sports Center, these different shows, different podcasts. They all say the Chicago Bears have won the offseason the last 3 years. That's pretty damn impressive for a team that hasn't been getting the results. So it's not that he hasn't acquired the talent. He's acquired the talent. The thing is that the coaches have not lived up to what they're supposed to do, not lived up to their expectations. If I'm sitting up here getting you this guy, getting you that guy, because my job as a GM is to acquire the talent. Your job as the coach is to coach that talent up. So what do you want from me? Will we be talking about this right now? You come to think about it, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna ask you guys this question right here. How many games the last 2 years have the Bears lost by one score less? That's 8 points or less.
I'd have to say in the neighborhood of 6 or 7.
Did you say 6 or 7?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
I would double that. I would say it's probably close to 14.
13 games.
Wow. Wow, what a guess. Give myself that Iron Mike shirt pat on the back for that one. That's
13 games. They have lost by 8 points or less.
Crazy.
That is ridiculous. That is purely on coaching. Yeah. For those people sitting up there that think that Ryan Post wanted to get rid of Eberflus last year. But if you're a true Bears fans, what do you know? Who always tend to get their ass in the way that won't let a GM or anybody do their job?
Uh-oh. Look, see, I'm laughing because last week, I don't know if you saw the George McCaskey presser over the last week or so. Last week, I had to turn around and go, look, guys, like I'm the same way. I've been cussing out George McCaskey for a solid 2 years. I'm sure Nomad could attest to this. But last week, I had to come on the show and be like, you know what?
Hey, see, that old man gonna whoop kids' ass.
Well, that's definitely not happening. You know what I mean? I'm gonna whoop his ass, but at the end, I'll let him whoop my ass because he's worth a lot of money, and maybe I could sue him for.
Oh shit! Might as well. Hell,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'll take the licks for the money in that scenario. But anyways, I had to come on last week and be like, look, I actually think he's kind of learned his lesson now. I think that Kevin Warren is in place and he finally trusts Kevin Warren. I think, this is the guy who's now going through the loss of his mother. I actually really felt for him last week after watching that presser and some of the questions he was asked and how he handled them. He handled them with charm and grace. He was comedic. He was cracking jokes. And it was just like, after all the shitty Bears pressers that I've seen George McCaskey be a part of, this was it was a huge departure from that. So I had to give him a little bit of love, a little bit of props. Normally I would blame everything on management. Right now, I think we're finally in a position where, the guys up top have said, like, whatever I've been doing, it ain't been working. So I'm just going to let you guys do this thing now. If I'm George, I don't put myself in the shoes of George. I trusted Ted to handle the stuff beneath Ted. I'm going to trust Kevin to handle the stuff beneath Kevin. And I think so far, it's working.
Yeah. I like creature culture in there talking about something. He said somebody stole the damn lawn equipment.
Yeah. Eberflus is running shit. Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is true. It's like they finally allowed for people to do their job instead of sitting up there trying to micromanage everything. One thing that we do know about the McCaskies, they've been notoriously known for being cheap. In order to make money, you got to spend that damn money, man. I get it. The Bears are y'all baby. That's the only way y'all make money. Y'all not like a rest of these other owners out here that have other businesses and they're taking off or whatnot. You know, the Bears are y'all baby. That's how y'all bring in your income. I get that. But in order to sit up there and make money, you have to spend money. Bears fans are not just nationwide, baby. God damn it, we worldwide. You go to hell, it'd be Bears fans there. It don't matter. We got plenty of them in heaven. We got them in hell too. You pick a spot. You go to Jupiter, there's going to be somebody out there rocking a damn Bears helmet or a Bears hat, something, jersey, shirt. It doesn't matter. We're everywhere, and we love to travel. You look at it. Our franchise hasn't been shit and God knows how long. But yet you constantly going to different stadiums. You sit up there, you see the Bears fans. I remember years back, the Bears played Atlanta. Went into Atlanta. And goddamn it, Matt Ryan had to call a timeout because the Bears fans was that damn loud. You want to talk about being disrespectful?
Whoa. What year was that? I might have been there, man.
Man, I want to say, woo, that might have been, man, what?
That you talking about somewhere in the 2007, 2008.
Yeah, it was almost close to a decade ago. But yeah.
I was in that parking lot, folded. We had tickets, we had good tickets, and we never made it inside the damn game.
Man,
look, folded.
Man, I found a scalper and got some tickets, and we was in there rocking. He had to call a timeout. But I'm glad that Georgia stepped back and let these guys run the team. We all know, like I'll go back to me defending Ryan Poles. I think he's a very good GM. I mean, I know guys like, what's his name, Jerko or Yurko. I call him Yurko, you know, getting on him, talking about him so bad. But like I said, he's won the offseason the last 3 years. It's not his fault that his coach can't coach. And then not only that, you get mad at him talking about, oh, yeah, Matt Eberflus was his choice. Bullshit. How's he his choice? When your owner sit up there and say, hey, look, I got 3 people that you can choose from. Pick one.
That's all Bill Polian, wasn't it? That was Bill Polian teed all that up. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. See, I ain't gonna never flip flop on nobody. But I'm a defensive guy, man. I play defense. I'm a corner, and so I know what defense can bring, and that can elevate you to the next level, and you can win it with that defense. You don't have to have a great offense. You just have to have an efficient offense. To me. Now, what he was doing in Indy, I thought Eberflus, I think that last year, I think they tailed off a little bit. Injuries might have kind of submarined them, but he had it rocking in Indianapolis with those players. I felt like, okay, if they can accumulate the talent and put it around Eberflus and he can learn, grow into the job as head coach, then maybe we got ourselves something. But that was always the question for me. It's like being a head coach versus being a defensive coordinator, where you got the blinders on, you focused on one thing versus having to control the whole damn shebang. You know, he's going to have to grow into that. You're brand new at this job. I'll just constantly, kids will tell you, I was just like, man, y'all tighten up a little bit, man. Give him a chance to grow. Just like he has to grow at his role, you know what I mean? And he just never really did as a head coach, man. When it came to decision making, he just crapped the bed. And it never got any better. It felt like it was just getting worse.
It was getting worse, and it got so bad that the Washington Commanders beat us with a Hail Mary when they really shouldn't have won that game at all. It was just him being out of sorts and
didn't even got to the Hail Mary.
So since we're talking about these things, right? So then Caleb Williams has a little bit of a conversation out there in the world. I think it was on Esquire, and the conversation really kind of said, you know, everything fell off the rails because of the way that Eberflus handled that situation. And if we're talking about it situationally, it starts with Kevin Byard questioning Eberflus in the moment of the play before the play. Hey, man, should we be giving this kind of cushion? That's crazy. We shouldn't be giving this kind of cushion to nobody. Let's play defense. And Eberflus is arguing with Byard. He's actually on the field and could have caught a flag. And you see Caleb come over and he grabs Eberflus. He pulls him off the field. And I'm like, yo, good thing that the kid is actually paying attention to what's going on. Like this is me recanting the way that I was watching this little scene. Then they give up, 10 yards. Ready, they're in field. They're in Hail Mary range now. All right, off goes the Hail Mary. It is what it is. But then you double down on it. The next 2 times, 3 times you're asked about it. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have done anything different. No, I did exactly the right thing. I made exactly the right decisions in this situation. So, yeah, we're cool with losing. No, man, you fall on your sword. You take the heat. Be a fucking coach. You know what I'm saying? This one was on me, guys. I made the call. It didn't go the right way. So I'm maybe next time I'll do you don't have to say I'm sorry, but maybe next time in this situation I'll do this, that, and the third. It's different than what we did this time. Maybe we won't give that much cushion. Maybe we call a timeout and really make a better decision in those moments. You say something to it, not just appease the world out there who's like, this dude's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody watch it. Like, you're a moron, bro. But you also appease your team, right? You're showing your team that you have not only their back, but you recognize that you made a mistake and you are an infallible human being just like the rest of us are.
Hey, you know what, man? So many times, like I think defense when I think football first. I always think that's just the way my mind is because of what I've been through, and I'm looking at this. See, you can tell me how you think about this, but too many times in those 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11s, he's just sitting back there, like especially against an experienced quarterback. I could pull up some Matthew Stafford Rams film us against the Rams. He's sitting back there in the 3rd and 8. Sitting in a cover 3 or a cover 2, and you got an experienced quarterback who knows where those holes are. He's going to dime you out every time. And I'm looking at the players on the field. They just frustrated. Like, send some pressure and let us tack up. We can play off-man coverage and just protect the line. But don't have us playing in space. And it was just too easy, man. And too many times, I know the philosophy has been, but don't break. But he became such a stick in the mud. And just so basic and predictable. It's like them coaches had to be licking their fingers. It's like, I know what he's going to do when it comes to this 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, or on this 1st and 10. He's just going to be very predictable, and moving the ball became pretty easy. It just so happened to be that we had a pretty talented defense that got us off the field several times when we shouldn't have. Yeah. You know what I mean? Bottom line, man, but his this being a stick in the mud, that came back to bite him in a way that it just mushroomed in the locker room because they just had enough of it. You know what I mean? It's like, tired of you putting us in position to have us look bad, man. You making us all look bad. They paying Jalen. I know he had to be like, man, they paying me all this money, and you got us in position to make me look bad constantly. And so eventually he's going to pop. He already got his money.
Yeah. Well, it gets deeper when you're not taking that accountability and stepping forward and falling on the sword. And now all of the fingers start to point to Tyreek. And I can't sit here and say that Tyreek didn't screw up. Like, Tyreek screwed up. You know what I mean? Like, he did. He was completely out of position. He's cracking jokes. He's not paying attention to the play. Like, Tyreek,
he unplugged for a few seconds.
He did. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for what you did. But at the same time, if Flus had been the guy who stepped forward and said, yo, this was on me, this was my fault, nobody would be asking about punishment for Tyreek next week. What's going to happen with Tyreek Stevenson? Are you going to punish him? Are you going to fine him? Are you going to suspend him? No, that situation was my fault. End of discussion. Tyreek goes back to playing football. Everybody's happy.
Kids, what did I tell you was going to happen if they decided that if Flus?
Bro, you were on it immediately, bro.
If he overrode the leadership in the building. I've been in leadership position, and if you want to do something, you go through the leadership. All right, is this appropriate? Is this damage control, or is this appropriate reprimands for what just happened? You know what I mean? And I was like, if he decides not to start Tyreek, he's gonna lose the team. Did I not say that? And everything went to shit hill.
You said it. You said it. He waited maybe 2 or 3 pressers to really do anything, and then I think. I in this scenario, I think, hey Swifty, what's up? I think somehow I think this was like one of the last few times where George got involved. I think George got involved here and said, look, the optics are terrible. We need to do something. We need to punish this kid because the optics are terrible. It makes you as a coach and our entire organization look foolish. So either you do something or we need to do something. You know what I mean? Something needs to be done. And unfortunately, that came down on Tyreek. And when it did, I'll be honest, I think like in those moments, that week of hoopla, for lack of a better thing to call it, the team was lost. And that's really what Caleb was trying to impart, is that, you know, once the defense was holding down the fort, and once the defense was lost, for a real bad season.
What you think about all that? See, did you see it that way, or do you see it differently?
Well, you know, the old saying goes, pressure busts pipes. To me, it seemed like when you talking about Eberflus the year before with his defense, he played a lot looser because he pretty much he didn't really care. You know, if you sit up there and you looked at it last year, the defense was blitzing more. This year, he seemed like he was had more pressure on him, so he didn't really know how to handle it. Let me go back to doing what I know, which is being in that cover two. And teams were tearing that damn cover two up. You know, you had injuries along the defensive line. The defensive line wasn't getting the pressure that it was getting last year. You know, everybody came into the season saying, oh, the Bears are top 5 defense. They're top 5 defense. And they became a top 5 defense based off of what they did the previous year. But that's when he allowed the team to sit up there. He blitzed more. He wasn't playing cover 2 like he normally played cover 2. He was doing something different. He still had some cover 2 in there, but he was playing totally different. Man, this season that just passed, pressure got to him. He knew that damn job was online. He hearing what people saying. He hearing everything that everybody's saying. And he looked at like a damn idiot. He had a lot of blunders during his time as being the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
You know what,
Tyree Stevenson, now, this is just me personally. This is how I feel about Tyreek. I think Tyreek's okay. I like Terrell Smith better.
You like him better?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I like Terrell Smith better. The only thing about Terrell is that Terrell has been injured. So he hasn't really gotten a chance to sit up there and show what he can really do. Tyreek has shown that he's the Jameson Williams of fucking DBs in the NFL to me. He's going to do something fucking stupid. Somehow, some way, he's going to find a way to do something dumb. Now, I know Al Harris, like Immortal said, I know Al Harris has went and talked to him, got him going to a DB coach, having him fine-tune a few things. I hope that works. But to me, I like Terrell Smith better.
One more last thing to speak on about Flus. Now, this is me. I'm going to always give credit where credit belongs. Man, I don't know how people see this, but inside a locker room, man, that locker room with a couple of bad cancer sticks can go left in a heartbeat, man. And to be 2 straight seasons to have that bad a season and keep everybody together, that to me, that was a feat. And I couldn't do nothing but take my hat off to him because, you know, it wasn't until middle of this year when you start to see the seams coming loose, you know.
Yeah.
When the breakdown happened in Washington, that's when everything started busting the seam loose now. But he did a hell of a job keeping all that together, you know, and having those guys come out and fight every single game. You talking about those games when there's 14 1 to 8-point, you know, games and stuff like that. That's because he had them together.
Yeah, you know, he made adjustments.
Yeah.
He made some adjustments. Like, that's one thing I would give him credit for. Like, when it came down to that second half, Bears, because you know the offense wasn't doing shit. Somehow, some way, they come in that second half and they make adjustments. Like we said earlier, they lost 13 fucking games. 7 last year, 6 the previous year, by 1 score less, 8 points or less. 13 games the Bears lost last year by that. So, I mean, he was keeping them in games. I just think that he couldn't pull it out at the end. He really couldn't.
Wow.
I don't think I think pressure got to him too much.
You lose the team. You lose your key guys. You lost the whole team.
Yeah. And then this is another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about too. all I've been hearing, oh man, the Bears should have drafted Jalen Carter. What the fuck do you think Jalen Carter would have did the way this shit show's going to be? Being on the Chicago Bears with basically no leadership like that. Eberflus was not a leader. Tyreek Stevenson doing what he doing. Guys coming out and complaining. Do you honestly think like he would have been the player that he is here, like he is in Philadelphia? And tell you the truth, Javon Dexter had more sacks than he did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, we'll be looking for a whole damn line, because shit, Darnell Wright was the only thing that we knew that we really didn't have to fucking replace.
We didn't have enough threats. That's what I was telling people then, when I was still messing around with the bar room at the time. And, that kept coming up. And I was just like, it's not that I don't like the player. You just got to understand the mindset that he has right now. If ain't nobody in the locker room that can check him, as opposed to, guy like that can just soil the whole goddamn locker room. I know guys like him, man. It's like dudes like him. If there ain't nobody there big enough and strong enough and powerful enough, I ain't talking about physically all the time, but that too, but just having enough presence. Like, hey, man, sit your ass down, man. You're doing too much. Sit your ass down. Take your ass home when you leave practice. Don't be in the streets. Take your ass home and get in your playbook. We didn't have those kind of guys in the locker room. And so that's why I thought, Jalen Carter wouldn't have been the best pick for us. You needed somebody that was a little bit more, had his head on right. I still, to this day, I don't give a shit how good Jalen Carter gets. I don't think he was the right pick for us at that moment. I agree, see?
Nah, not at all.
I don't know which side of this fence I really stay on. At the end of the day, you hit the nail on the head by saying we'd be looking for a full offensive line if we did not draft Darnell Wright. I will give Flus his like little tiny flowers here, because I think with maybe that additional guy, maybe additional pressure would have occurred, and that's good for his particular cover 2 defense. But outside of that, I don't know. Javon's numbers are very similar to Jalen Carter's at the end of the day, so I don't know if it would have been that big of a boost on the defensive line if we got Carter at all. So I'm glad we have Darnell Wright. We have a linchpin on that side of the offensive line, and it looks like we have the rest of the line pretty well sorted out, except for one position, and we'll see what that looks like after the draft.
Yeah, right. And not only that, when you think about it, like someone put on it, Jalen Carter was surrounded by, superior Super Bowl type talent, and that plays a factor. And then we're talking about a guy that during his pro day or during the combine, he couldn't even finish the shit. Like, people got to remember this. Like, yeah, it's fine to poo-poo on a team or poo-poo on a person when they're down. It's easy. It's easy to sit up there and do that. Like, everybody saying, oh, man. Yeah, now just imagine. Ryan Poles will probably be fired right now. Kids, you will probably sit up there and really want to go off the top rope and give him a Macho Man elbow if we didn't have Darnell Wright up in there. Because you'd be like, man, this guy has no fucking clue what he's doing. Because if you listen to Jerko, he stood up there and said, oh, this guy doesn't know how to evaluate offensive linemen.
Oh, my God. I hate that.
He doesn't know how to evaluate this, and he doesn't know how to evaluate that. Well, tell me this, jerk off. What happens if he sits up there, let's just say the 3rd round pick that they picked last year that they put up in a fucked up position last year, Karam Amagaji, let's say he comes out and he turns out to be a stud at left tackle. Let's see Darnell Wright, with all this new coaching, turns out and be a stud over there at the right tackle. Does he still not know what he's doing? Because, we can play hypotheticals. Does he still not know what he's doing?
One thing I think he did see was, I think Travis Smith and Matt Eberflus. Travis Smith was, no, not Travis Smith, but what's the offensive line coach's name that was here?
Oh, Chris Williams.
Oh, Chris Morgan.
Chris Morgan. I think that fucking shit got rotten. That turned into some straight up, cronyism right there, man. I think he overestimated what Chris Morgan can bring to the table. So he didn't draft early with offensive linemen. I think that guy had him believing that you bring me whoever, if he's got some talent, he got some traits, we'll get him up to speed. Don't worry about it. We don't have to go reach for offensive linemen early. And again, that goes back to what I truly believe happens inside of the office, man. You know, when it comes down to it, he's gonna basically march to the beat of their drum if he's a good GM, in my opinion. Yeah. You know, you get them what they saying they need. If they saying don't draft offensive linemen early, don't draft them. But then at the end of the day, you know, we struggle with a subpar offensive line. Who do you blame for that? Easily, the easiest target for non-nuanced people is to blame Ryan Poles for that, instead of the guy that was tasked with getting these guys up to speed. You know, so don't leave that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, there's a couple areas here where I can't like. So here's what I'm gonna say. Like, a lot of this falls on the head. If we're talking about the offensive line, a lot of it falls on the head of Chris Morgan / Eberflus. Like, clearly they're buddies because he lasted through all of the offensive coordinator changes that went by. My little beef with respect to the offensive line is it's got nothing to do with drafting talent. Like, Darnell Wright's a quality tackle. Like, there's no questions there. My problem was cutting bait on Nate Davis. I'll just be real on this. He needed to cut bait. I'm trying to figure out when, but there at some point it should have become clear, because it was clear to everybody except for Ryan that he just didn't want to be there. Right. And that was it. That's like my little beef. He, in my opinion, he kind of cut bait on Chase Claypool for going back. It's not offensive line, but he found a way to sort of cut bait on Chase in a more timely fashion and got something out of the situation as well. You know, it wasn't a second rounder, which he spent on him, is what it is. He got something out of it and got him out of there. Cool. But that's my only little lingering beef, is like when things are going wrong, when you're coming to practice without any of your gear, or you don't put your gear on at practice for no good reason. Everybody's practicing at work. Like, what are you doing? Somebody needs to have that conversation. What's this guy doing? You're not here to play football? No? Okay, cool.
Kids, can you imagine this? Okay, I know Ryan Poles heard them concerns about. I'm a guy on the outside looking in. Even though I play football, I don't know that much. So where I know more than what Ryan Poles knows. Ryan Poles had background information on Nate Davis, and it was well known. If I know about it, it's well known that Nate Davis had issues with, being a participant in practice and all that kind of stuff that came with Nate Davis.
Yeah.
So that was known. Somebody inside that building, any new GM is going to be a little bit apprehensive when you hear shit like that. You want me to spend money on this guy, and I'm hearing this about him? Somebody inside that building convinced him that Nate Davis was worth it. I'll get him. I can imagine Eberflus talking about, we'll put him in this culture and we'll raise the standards for him. We'll get him where he needs to be. I can see that happening, man. I can really see that happening. Now, when, Ryan Poles pulled the trigger and said, the guy, I'm pretty sure he wanted to do it somewhere around the time, not too long after his mom passed away, but you ain't going to do that if you got some good dignity.
No, I'm going to preempt you a little bit. So I have no issues with the scouting of Nate Davis as a talent, because feel free to, anyone in the chat, feel free to go back and look at Nate Davis tape where he was. The tape is crazy. Like he was a stellar lineman. Like he was a stellar guard. And I was quite happy that he found a guard with that kind of capability. Once I saw him make that move, I went back and looked at the tape. Nate Davis's tape it's really good. Moving down the line though, you kind of get into a situation where, again, the mom situation is a problem. You give him the benefit of the doubt for the season, but then season 2, if you're in preseason and he's not dressing, bro, I'm sorry, bro. You're not dressing? Why aren't you dressing? You're not participating? Why aren't you participating? We need to have cohesion on this line. And if you can't be a part of that cohesion. I need you out of here so I can maybe get somebody else who will be. And it's literally year 2 Nate Davis, not years 1, or not the draft or not the scouting of Nate Davis that I have a problem with. I think Ryan Poles found himself a really good talent in Nate, and Nate just didn't want to do it. You know what I mean?
You got any thoughts on that, C?
Yeah, so I'm just piggyback writing a couple things now. So on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, shout out to my boys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chicago Clubhouse PCast.
Yeah. So we were on there. We had a former quarterback. Pretty sure you guys know him by the name of Jeff Blake.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff Blake told us about one thing that we sort of all know and see, but don't really talk about in sports. And that's from the time that we've gone and played, whether it be Pop Warner, high school, college, something called ego in politics.
Mm.
Ego and politics play a big part in sports, and particularly on sports teams. The Bears, for example. Someone put it in the chat earlier, I think his name was Dorsey or something like that, said how our guy, well, at least my guy, I don't know about you guys, this guy, Tevin Jenkins, was killing it at right guard. They went and signed Nate Davis to his, 3-year, $30 million deal, whatever it was. And they forced Tevin, because they paid this guy that plays right guard only. They forced Tevin to move to the left guard. Now, when he got hurt, and this comes to dumbass coaching as well, when Nate got hurt, you know what you should have did? You should have moved Tevin back over there to right guard, because with him and fucking Darnell Wright, you had two monsters over there that when they were working together, looked pretty damn good.
It looked.
I'd much rather have a strong side than have no side at all.
Yeah.
If I need that 1 yard, guess where I'm running? I'm running behind those two big son of a bitches. That's what I'm going to do. I can get 1 yard behind those two over there. That's what you do. You sit up there and you go to the strength. Fuck all the money. Fuck your ego. Just go to that particular side. Do what's best for the team. Do what's working for the team. So we will wind back and we look back. Nate Davis hurt. Tevin Jenkins doesn't get switched out. He stays over there to that left side. You chose to keep him over there to the left side instead of bringing him over to the right side. And if we are fans that don't put in half the fucking work that you guys that get paid to do it, why the fuck can't y'all figure this shit out? Do you know how many times I screamed at the goddamn TV like, please put him over there. Have a strong side. The Chicago Bears the last 3 years have had over 120 different combinations on an offensive line.
I heard that number before. That is nuts.
That is fucking ridiculous. 120 different combinations on the offensive line. Where the fuck they do that at? And because of egos and because of politics, because this son of a bitch gets paid $10 million a year and he doesn't. Oh, I got to keep him there. I got to play him.
It was, man, look, man, that was all gospel right there. He just preached to y'all.
Laid it down.
Because to that point, I can remember talking to I was in college, man. I used to be bouncing around silly ass all in everybody's meeting rooms and stuff. I'd be in everybody's shit, just bouncing around. I get bored in the DB room or the defense room. I'll go somewhere else. I'll just get up and leave. And I go in the offensive room, and the coach got kind of used to me, the offensive coordinator coming in there, because I take reps with them on the offensive side, run routes. They put me in the game, like not in the game, but they use me in practice and running routes and different things like that. So I should go in there and just try to get familiarized with what they're doing over there. And a lot of the conversation was exactly what he's talking about. Why that just perked my ears is it's always going to be a whole lot of juggling when it comes to attrition, when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, when you got move guys around and you got people coming in and out, what's important, what C just said, is okay, if you do nothing else, get a side of it that's strong. You know what I mean? If you'll find that to be your default position. Like if we're gonna need to run the ball, we need a strong area to run the ball at. Well, you're gonna know it's coming, and you ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. So that was perfectly said. See, you got to make sure that you have a dominant side of your offensive line. If things ain't going right, at least you got it set up for one side of that ball to dominate. Man. So he's absolutely right with what he just said. Absolutely.
Man, I just don't get it. And this is what we talk about, ego and politics. People are so fucking egotistical that you won't even check. Fuck that. Look here. If I'm the goddamn GM, if I'm the coach, I want to make sure that my family eats. We all saw Eberflus' nice ass house that he had out there off of the lake.
That's bad investment.
He ain't got that shit no more.
Well,
if his ass would have said,
I know who's buying
change that shit up.
I know who's buying the bee house, man. Who's buying the bees? Anybody out there looking for bees?
And that was a bad investment. You know, he's gonna get up out of it because it's probably somewhere in Lake Forest or Arlington somewhere. He's gonna get out of the property because that's just good property out there. But holy crap, what did you think of? What was you thinking about, dog?
Man, my ass would have straight rented. I'm renting. I ain't buying shit till I make sure that we got a winning season. We got a couple in a row. Like, all right, well, there's a good chance these motherfuckers ain't gonna get rid of me. Shit, ain't nowhere in hell. And especially in that type of situation, I like living in this nice ass house. I got the new cut and shit. Wife, she want to do me even more now because I'm looking young and shit. Hey, get your big ass over there to that right guard position. Hey, we got a strong side right now. Every fucking game we gonna run on this. We need 1 yard. God damn it, we gonna run on this side. It's just that simple.
Hey, see, one of my homies played his whole 13-year career. I shouldn't even say it. I ain't gonna say the teams because somebody's gonna go Google it and find out who it is. But he played for one team, and that motherfucker rented the whole goddamn time. I'm not bullshitting. He said, "I ain't doing shit." He's
smart.
To this shit over.
He's smart.
I was like, dog,
for not for long, baby.
I was like, dog, it's not gonna cut you. He's like, man, you don't know nothing. He said, you don't know shit. He said, I'm good with the coaches and they use me, and I'm, because he was one of them dual purpose football players. He played a little bit of everything, but I was like, dog, get your fucking house, man. That's where you're gonna be at. I was telling him that at year 9. You know what I'm saying? At year 9, I was like, man, get a goddamn house, dude. That turned out to be the best thing he ever did. He got the house there now. You know what I'm saying? But you can't like that shit is even if I was Kyler, who we about to talk about in just a second. Yeah. The first thing people want to do is get their own home and get all their shit unpacked and get the family together. I got the house I always wanted. Mom, come over. Everybody come on over. We're gonna have it. Everybody want to do that, but is it the best investment you can possibly make when you're an NFL player? Hell no.
I totally understand. What I tell them, and I agree with you. Get you a house. Look, man, you don't have to get no big stupid ass crib where you go, hey, up in there, where you hear the whole echo and shit, or you be like Batman. I don't think I've never been in this room before. You don't need one of those houses. You can get your nice little decent little house, you know what I'm saying, and you be fine. It's probably easier to sell and shit. Don't go get you no big ass $5, $7, $8, $10 million crib and shit, and then look up the next year your ass traded. Now you gotta get rid of that damn thing.
So let me be the realest one in the building, because what needs to go down, and this is just something I never understood, really needs to go down, is these players who are making this big bank need to go and buy 5 or 6 or 7 houses. Need to buy a bunch of houses.
Now you talking about investment properties. Now
I'm being real about it. You can just have
you make the difference. Now we ain't talking about somewhere to live. We talking about investment property.
That's what I'm talking about. You can also have some place to live too in the area that you're playing ball. And when you dip, you sell that. You have the other investment houses paying for that house. When you go to another city, play in another city, buy a house there too, and you're straight. You don't buy no $8 million house. That's just crazy. It's not, you know what I mean? Now you're gonna figure out who's gonna buy this thing for $8 million. Who got $8 million out there? You know what I mean? Like the market is a little bit slim if we're talking about the purchase of $8 million homes, but $1 million homes, market's a little bit better. I'm saying just a little business savvy in the mix here, and it's just like you're saying. Nobody needs that big house where you can hear your own echo. Nobody needs that. Spend $1 million, get a nice spot, but do that 8 more times elsewhere, and you will be making bank in the end.
Well, I hear you, Kes, but guess what? They got 9 shit squatters. You fuck around.
Hey man, is that really going down in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude, big time in Atlanta. But shout out to
that shit go down in Chicago, man.
Shout out to Janae Dominguez who busted up in this piece to holler at.
Dominguez, what's going on, baby? Appreciate the love.
That's crazy, man. Because like
you got squat, man. Look here.
That's a big thing in the UK. I didn't know those popping off in the US.
Let me tell you something, player. We one of those states and cities that allow, you know what I'm saying, the immigrants to come over. And trust me, right now, I live in Chicago. I'm right outside. I know you guys gonna heard of Cabrini Green, right? Yeah, right outside Candyman, where Candyman was terrorizing everybody. Right outside this window is where that's at. And they have immigrants literally right outside the row houses. Like every 2 weeks, the fire department's coming out here because there's smoke coming out the abandoned road houses. Squatters.
You know what? Around here, I live a little south of the city. Like it's like sometimes like the people that come in here and ain't supposed to be here, they go in there and add value to them regular ass homes. Ain't nobody been doing shit to. They ain't paying shit, you know what I mean? But they got it looking good. The neighborhood ain't looking all bummy because somebody came in and decided they was gonna do something with the house. They ain't paying for shit. They bootlegging the electricity, they bootlegging everything in the motherfucker. But they got it looking decent. And so I don't know who the fuck own them places. Don't give a fuck. But I don't like them black eyes in the neighborhood. So if it's occupied and somebody giving a damn about it, I'm happy about it because I'm a homeowner. You know what I mean? So in my neighborhood, you know, I don't live in no rich city. I live in the hood, man. You get shot around this motherfucker.
So you know what I'm saying is, if I get fired again and the wife leaves me, I can just find my way to Chicago and like there's cribs.
Oh yeah, easily.
Basically what you're telling me.
Easily, yes. There are fucking cribs here.
There's cribs.
You come move right here and be completely fine.
All right. Okay.
I've seen them do it.
Hey, dog, it goes down, man. It goes down. But we do got to talk about this guy, man, who just got his money. Give me a second to pull him up. Shuffle the screen a little bit. Just got paid.
Yes, sir.
KG. I'm gonna shut up and let you guys. I'm just gonna say this, man. And talking about deserve, this was a great investment right here.
Yeah, yes, super good investment. The one player Dennis Allen happened to mention when he came in the door was this particular guy who wears number 6. I'm so like, I don't know where he found I don't know where Poles found this kind of money floating around. You know what I mean? Like I thought money might have been a little bit tight given all the signings, etc. But
so let's get the contract out there. He got a 3-year, $40 million contract with 31 and some change up front. 31 million and some change up front. So let's just put that out there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good money, man, for a nickel, like highest nickel in the business right now. So I'm impressed. I've been impressed with everything he's done this far. Watching these games last year with Nomad, doing things live, watching these games, there was clearly there was a few players that I would have to say were clearly on it and playing at an elite level every week, even when there's nothing to play for. This guy's the top of them. Like there's no questions about Kyler Gordon's dedication to this team and to what the scheme was last season. He was out there, he was doing the darn thing, and I have to say, got to give the kid some love, and looks like they gave him a bag to go with it.
Yes, sir. Got to. Shout out to Mama Gordon out there. She's a friend of our show. We're going to kick it with Mama Gordon, Kyler's mom. Shout out to her. I know she's excited about her son getting paid. Hey, kid deserved it. You know, what people sometimes forget about Kyler Gordon, they got to remember his last year at Washington, this kid gave up 0 touchdowns. 0. And I actually thought that they were going to put him on the outside. He fell to the second round, and I think he fell because of his 40 time, which when we were in the back, you know what I'm saying, talking about the underwear Olympics and stuff, you know, how people's stocks can rise and fall due to the underwear Olympics. You know, it seemed like his stock fell a little bit because here it is, a guy that went to a big time program. Wasn't like he was at a D2 school or, you know, one of those small conference schools. He went to Washington Huskies, you know, nice size on him. Didn't allow too many receptions, didn't allow zero touchdowns his last year, and fell to the second round. And kudos to Ryan Poles for finding him and a guy that I hope that bounced back. I'm praying for him, Jaquan Brisker. You know, another guy that when playing safety at Penn State University gave up 0 touchdowns his last season as well. Very good cover guys. Now, I don't know what this new contract is. He's going to stay at nickel or they're going to move him and possibly put him out opposite of Jalen.
Oh no, I'm. You know what? I ain't trying to tell you you're wrong, but I can give you, like, watching all that Saints all 22. Looking at what they do with, I think they got Cordell Flott as a nickel corner over there, and he's kind of the same guy as Kyler. I'd say Kyler's a little more built than him, a little more physical, but that guy's physical too. Kyler, I think he's going to stay at slot. I think he'll go out and play some boundary corner if need be, you know. Yeah. But I think he's going to be the MVP of this defense come next year, just because of the dynamic ways he used. He's going to be blitzing all the time.
I was just going to say, Dennis Allen's going to use him to attack a lot more frequently than anybody would have thought. We saw a little bit of that with Flus, and he's good at it, right? He's fast. He has no problems getting to a quarterback and bringing a quarterback down. So I think we're going to see a lot of that on the outside. I still think there's a lot of stock in Terrell and Tariq, man. And to be frank with you, I really hope that situation works out, even if we wind up putting Tariq, you know, out there as a safety down the road, because I could kind of see that might be a possibility. But I think this kid in the nickel slot spot is just the best place for him to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's dynamic at that position, dynamic at it. I wish that the Bears last year could have did a better job of, you know, disguising their blitzes with him, because it's like sometimes you look at the game like, oh shit, okay, Kyler's about to go in. And I know if we're seeing it, I know damn well the damn offense knows that when he's coming. So yeah, shout outs to him, Spider-Man, Kyler Gordon. Congratulations, got that bag. And you know what? He don't do too many podcasts either, man.
Nah, man, man, you need
to trying to get him on. KG, come on, man. Quit playing that. You only got paid, bro.
See, you got to hook me up with some connects, man. You connected. You got a lot of goddamn people you doing shit with now.
Hey, man, you know, I don't know that's just the guys that I work with. I just piggyback off of them. You know, I'm the cool one. I just sit back in the cut and, you know, talk a little smack. But congratulations, Kyler, man. I mean, that's life-changing money right there for him, his mom, his family. They're good people. You know, his mom does dancing. She's a very good dancer. She does competition dancing and whatnot. So
okay,
yeah.
Shout out to Frank.
I heard something about that, and I think that's part of the reason why. Oh, Franco
died.
the Tank.
I've been here, man.
Yeah, Frank the Tank, baby.
Real quick, man. I got to embellish for my guy Kyler, man, because, you know, I'm a corner. I can do that shit, man.
Yeah.
Listen,
I know you happy.
Oh, happy as a motherfucker. I was like, that to me, I like this tape better than McDuffie when he was at Washington, man. I've been watching for a while, dude. It's like I know what it's like to have to play slot corner. It's a dynamic position, man, because you're basically an extra linebacker. That's basically when you got the sub packages in there, you're going to they take the linebacker off and you kind of playing that primary role. So you got to be willing to be a tackle. You got to be willing to be fast and physical. And that's what his tape in Washington really showed me. He was great in coverage, and he still is.
Yeah.
But that physicality and that speed and that twitch that he plays with, that elite athleticism he had, makes him the dynamic guy he is, man. That physicality like I am telling you, Kyler Gordon is going to be the stud of this defense. I'm telling you right now, he is. Dennis Allen is going to love this guy, and he said as much. You could tell how much he liked to take when he got hired, because that's the first guy, and that's really the only guy he kind of had stand out or talk about was Kyler Gordon. So man, I'm telling you, I think he's fast becoming probably the top slot corner in the league. You know, money says he is now, but I still think he's got one more year, and I think it's going to solidify him.
Oh, my man, Crazy Ace, yes sir, man. He you know what, I've been liking Kyler the last couple years, you know what I'm saying, at that position. I remember his rookie year. I was kind of hard on him because, you know, that's just me. I'm going to be hard on you. If I think that you're fucking up, I'm going to say that you fuck up. Ain't no cuddling here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cuddle you. You know, he stepped up year 2, and then he stepped up even bigger last year. You know, I just want him to continue to, you know, long as he doesn't get hurt. I know he had a couple injuries or whatnot, a couple soft tissue injuries. So long as he stays healthy, man, he's going to be one of the best slot corners in the league, if not the best slot corner in the league. You know, a guy that can cover. He's pretty athletic, can pick the ball off, has good hands, very good tackler, can blitz him, use him. He's that Swiss Army knife. So, yeah, congratulations to him.
My only last thing to talk about with Kyler is so I can imagine he's hyper as shit. I can tell why, you know, I can remember his profile coming out, and I didn't know all the stuff about him until, you know, a little backstory with his parents. And he was a hyper kid, and they had to do things to get that energy out of him. Golly, ended up being one of those things that he's got to calm down a little bit and probably get a little bit more reserved in practice. And that's going to minimize some of the soft tissue injuries. You know, he is 100. He's full go all the time, and I don't think any of that changes while he's in practice. You know what I mean? So he just got to settle down a little bit, save a little bit for the game. You know, you still, you know, I don't want to tell a guy, you know, you ain't got nothing else to prove. You got your money. I ain't saying that, but he's probably a particular guy.
Maybe don't go the Eddie Jackson route.
Man, he's gonna be fine, man. That money ain't gonna change him one little bit. Yeah. He's just got a temperament for the game, you know what I mean? And he's physical.
So I think he likes to play though. Like I think that's, you know, a lot of the time that's the difference, especially when you get paid. Like, do you still like football after you get your money? Right? A lot of folks is like, you know, I like all kinds of other things now. I like my car, my new car, I like my new house. But this kid seems, and you can see it out there on the field week after week, he looks like one of them players who enjoys the sport. He loves to be physical. He loves to get in there and be disruptive. You know, there's other guys we could talk about on that defense too. I'm going to say Kevin Byard is like that. I'm going to say TJ Edwards is like that. There's just certain guys who are built and love it. And, you know, in the case of TJ Edwards, he's not making all kinds of crazy dough. You know what I mean? He's just out there and he loves to do it. But you could see it with this kid every week last season. And, you know, I definitely deserves some money. Definitely deserves a bag.
All right, but shout out to Kyler, man. I don't know if you're watching podcasts, you probably the type that ain't watching none of this shit. But if you do, man, dog, you have no idea how much of a fan I am of yours. I love the way he plays football, dude. He's like my spirit creature on that field sometimes, man. He's just physical, fast, and violent about it. You know what I mean? You got to love it, man. We got him hooked up until 2028. So shout out to Kyler Gordon one more time. I do have a question for you guys. This is more for C than it is for you kids, but you're going to chime in, of course. Now, when it comes to this draft, I know you probably got a bucket full of favorites right now, but give me a guy that you just can't stop thinking about in this draft. I don't care where he's at, first round, last round, somebody you think might be a UDFA. Give me somebody that just sticking out to you that just really just gets you going when you start thinking about these draftees.
All right, so the first guy that I think about is Kenneth Grant. 6'4", 330-something defensive tackle from the University of Michigan. And the reason why I think about Kenneth Grant, because I think at number 10, it's too much of a wild card. You have people talking about Tyler Warren. You have people talking about Genty. You have people talking about what's his name, Will Campbell. To me, I would trade back and get Kenneth Grant. This guy is a absolute beast. And I know a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, well, he played next to Mason Graham. Well, guess what? Mason Graham also played next to Kenneth Grant. And if you look at the tape, you will see a guy that's that damn big that should not be moving that fast. Quick hands, good footwork. He has ability to bend. He has ability to turn his body. Once he grabs you, it's over with. Quick, short area burst. Can play the run and get after the quarterback.
Okay. That's your guy, huh?
That's my guy right there. I mean, if they can trade back, and then the thing about it is, if they can trade back in the late teens, early 20s, where he's so-called projected, because you know some people say that he's going to fall to the second round. I think he is not going to fall to the second round. But you can pick up some extra draft pieces, some extra draft picks, and still be able to get who you want. Because I'm not in love with Genty at that running back at number 10. I'm just not in love with it. This is probably the deepest running back draft ever. So why take one?
Kid's gonna be ready to tussle in about 5, 4, 3.
He's counting me down. Look, I'm the guy I was actually gonna say isn't Genty this time around. I do like Genty though, and I have no problems with the idea of drafting him. It took me a little while to get here, and me saying that is, it has a lot to do with some of the backs that I scouted last season that are now in this draft, like Taj Brooks or Devin Neal, or my personal favorite coming in, Travion Henderson. But at this particular time, yeah, I'm sold on the Genty situation. I think he's that good. The reason being, I don't think Boise State really had anything else going, and everybody knew it, and he still put up 2,600 yards, right? Pretty crazy stats. But the guy I'm really trying to talk about is Nick Emeka. That's really who I think is a bit of a one of one. 6'3", in my opinion, he's like the new he's like 2025 Cam Chancellor. And I'm a little bit worried about Jaquan, just a little, but he might even be an upgrade to Jaquan, right? So that's my particular guy. That's if the draft goes a little bit sideways, if they don't get any of the guys that you just listed, Campbell, Genty, et cetera, and they are looking to trade back, I would not be mad if they looked at a guy like Nick Emeka.
Well, before I don't need to say it because everybody keeps seeing they hear me every damn show telling they know who my favorites are. And so let's go down, let's say let's just go by position. Give me your favorite running back, see.
Favorite running back. Damn. My favorite running back will probably be, if we're just talking about just drafting, probably be Travion Henderson. That's hard for me to say. And that's because I'm a Michigan guy and I fucking hate
I'm gonna put you on pause for a second here. I hate to interrupt you, but Team Kuma Logan Jiu-Jitsu Ninja gotta be one of your homies.
Yeah, that's my boy Frank. That's his son Logan. Yes, sir.
All right, okay.
Shout out to all y'all that jumped in here to holler at my guy C bringing traffic up in here, man.
Love that, C. Love that. I'm just saying, like whoever that is, he's on my kind of tip because I'm all about them comics and Street Fighter and stuff like that. Got all that in there in his name.
I left a comment for you in private too, man.
Word up, right?
But so that's your favorite, kids. We know.
Yeah, I mean, I like. Don't get me wrong. I like Genty. The thing about Genty, the only reserve that I have about Genty is, well, it's actually a couple. One, I think he was used a lot there at Boise State. Two, he's also about 5'9", even though they list him at He's about the same size as DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to pass blocking, I don't know if he's that good as a pass blocker. Will he be able to pick up the blitz like that? Like we've gone and seen film of Trevion Henderson putting dudes on their back, come through on that blitz.
Yeah.
He runs a 4.3 4.40. Can catch the ball out the backfield. He can do everything. He's not as big of a power back as Caleb Johnson or Marion Hampton. He's faster. He has power to him. He's just as fast as Genty, if not faster. Has hands, just like Brashard Smith, which is a sleeper guy too from SMU.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he does have injury issues, Scrolls. Yes, that's very true. He does. He does have injury issues.
I
But
don't know.
my money for what we can get him possibly in the second round, to me, he's probably my favorite back in the draft.
All right.
I already know who cares his favorite back.
No, well, like again, me coming in having this conversation earlier a couple months ago, my answer would have been exactly the same as yours, Falmasi. Like no questions. I thought Trevion was the truth, and I, I'll be a little bit mad. You know what I mean? If we don't get Genty, I'll be a little bit mad, but I'll be less mad if we get Trevion as a consolation prize in this situation. And I also like Judkins a lot too, right? Like I do. Judkins is a nice back because I really thought, and like I'm gonna say some crazy stuff now. So Judkins did a great job filling in and stepping up to the plate when Trevion went down. Did a fantastic job. A little bit more of a bruiser than Trevion is, and that could be a positive thing here in Chicago. Turns out he might even be faster. Interesting things. But my worry is this: like, if both of those guys were able to have like stellar seasons behind the Ohio State offensive line, is it the line or is it the backs? I don't know anymore. But I still wouldn't kick either one of these guys out of my draft room situation. I just gotta say it.
Yeah.
So,
but Genty, you know what it is. But Genty,
everybody knows how I feel about Damian Martinez and Chicago running backs, and how to me it's important. You got DeAndre Swift for another year. You don't have to, go get you like I think the compliment to that kind of running back is important. I think Damian Martinez is probably the most slept on running back in this class. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to thumping and being a Chicago Bears running back, to me, you want thunder and lightning, man. Go make sure you got the right thunder that's going to wear a team. Like Naj will tell you, his name is Immortal in the chat. He sent me this video of when he was at Oregon State when they was playing Washington. Man, he got them in the fourth quarter, man. And when I tell you he punished them, it's like this guy gets better and better the more and more carries he gets. He ain't gonna break away from you with no 4.3 speed. He's 6'1", 6'1", 232 pounds, and he's got quick too. He got quicks and speed. He can beat you to the house. He just ain't gonna do it no whole bunch of times. But I'm telling you, the sheer tenacity, and he's not like one of those big dudes that don't have lateral agility and can't move inside the whole juke and jump cut and do all that. That's probably his best trait, and he's probably that jump cut that he's got is probably better. The only one in the draft that I think is better than him with that is probably Devin Neal, and that's an important feature to have as a running back. You need to be able to make somebody miss that one-on-one tackle once you get to the second level, and you pretty much off to the races. You make somebody missing that hole, and you ain't just one of them north-south running backs and just looking to run through people every time. You have to do that from time to time, but you need to have that feature to you to extend plays. That's just my opinion. I think Devin Neal is probably one or two most slept on backs in this draft too.
Yeah. See, one thing about me, I don't know these guys like as far as their personalities, but I will tell you this: whatever running back that they do select, if they do select a running back, they're not coming there with no diva attitude. They're not coming there thinking that they the shit, that they know it all, because our running backs coach is who?
is that is
Eric B. Enemy.
Baddest running back coach on the planet, really.
And Eric B. Enemy is a hard-nosed, no nonsense, no bullshit taking type coach. And that's one of the reasons why he hasn't had a head coaching job, because hell, I heard over there in Kansas City and Washington, some of the players were upset because they say he coached too damn hard. I don't know what the fuck philosophy is that he coached too hard, but they say he coaches too hard. So whoever it is that comes in at that running back position is gonna deal with Eric B. Enemy, and I hope they come in right and be ready to go to work.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. You know, I got my hopes and wishes, and I love to see that cat get on this. You know, wherever round they can get him in, man, that's a Chicago Bears running back if I ever seen one. Talking about historically what people think about Chicago and what kind of features we have. We have great defense and we have bruising running backs that can really get busy. And so that's what I'm looking to come back to Chicago. They already got that started, bringing Dennis Allen here. I know he's going to bring the prestige back to that defense. Now we need a thumper that can really take the air out the ball and make that defense put their hands on their hip and be like, all right, that's enough for him. And we got 7-8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we're still dealing with it. That's what I want to see.
Definitely. I mean, I love the coaching staff, to be honest with you. This is probably the best coaching staff we've ever had here in Chicago. I mean, you kind of think about it, you got Al Harris, Eric B. Enemy, Dennis Allen, you know, the so-called whiz kid and the head coach and Ben Johnson. I hope he's everything that those Detroit fans, they pissed, and it's Ben Johnson's fault, the reason why we lost to Washington, because
they're really mad about
it. Thinking about Chicago.
Let's be real about that, though. Let's take that into
hey, they tight. In case you didn't know, they tighten them up right now.
They're mad about this situation.
Well, they are pissed.
Man, I didn't really see it going down like that, as in, like, let's be real. Ain't nobody really saying, "Oh man, Aaron."
Last time you seen Don here, kids? Answer that.
You know what? I seen him on another show, maybe last week. Don was making all kinds of excuses too.
We're talking about Don Burr.
You know who it is.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Don be on every Chicago.
Don was saying he disappeared. Y'all know I disappear after the playoffs every year. You know what it is, like, man. All right, Don. Like, guarantee.
Shout out to Don Burr, man. Hey, it takes a special person to come on there every Chicago Bears podcast and say Detroit versus everybody.
And you know what? See, don't get it twisted. Don know ball too now.
Yeah, definitely.
That motherfucker knows some ball now.
Definitely.
He be bullshitting and talking shit and trolling, but that motherfucker know ball. I know that person.
Yeah,
he does. Definitely. The three of us have gone back to back a few times in arguments, man. Me and Don from way back in the day. Anyhow, like they're not mad about Aaron Glenn going to the Jets. Like, nobody gives a shit. Just gotta put that out there.
And nobody gives a right there. Nobody gives a shit about him going to the Jets.
Nobody cares. But Ben Johnson going to the Bears is a problem, and I love it. That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah. Definitely, Ben Johnson got the better gig. I think Aaron Glenn, he's got something to him, man. And I do think, you know, and I know Foul Mouth C1 wouldn't mind this conversation. I do think that him being in New York and bringing Justin Fields in there, haven't had to deal with Justin Fields for a few years, knows what he can put another team up against with Justin Fields behind the center, and he's going to exploit that 100%. To his advantage, man. And I think that was probably one of the sleeper moves in the offseason. It's just like, you got to be a confident motherfucker at this point to say, you know what, we're going to bring in Justin Fields and we're going to pay him. We're going to put some positive air under him, and we're going to let his ass play and beat Justin Fields.
It was a brilliant move. Like, he's not paying him astronomical, crazy Aaron Rodgers money. He's paying him good money. It's better than what Justin was making a minute ago. Justin's happy to play. He's the starter. Now all he has to do is protect him, and he can do that with the level of draft capital that he actually has. He's in a pretty interesting spot, and the spot is, hopefully this kid will work out. And if he doesn't, it'll help him build his team over the course of the next 2 years so that he can then replace Justin Fields. I don't see it happening right now, and that's what they were just asking Justin about actually the other day. It was like, do you think he's going to draft Shedeur Sanders? Are you ready to bring up a backup quarterback? And Justin said, I don't like to answer rhetorical questions. which is not the real answer to that question. It should have been like, I don't like to answer hypotheticals because rhetorical questions is a completely different thing. But anyways, that was his answer.
And for the record, Chris Foster and Scrolls having a slap fight in the chat.
Yeah, the scroll says that Don Burr knows balls. That's what the scrolls had to say, though.
Right. We're gonna hop positions, man. Just for the sake of it. Who's your favorite receiver? I know there's slots and there's X and there's Z's. Who's your favorite receiver, C? Who you like out there? Who's jumping off the tape that you know of?
If I had to go favorite receiver in the NFL right now, it'll probably be Chase.
No, I'm talking about in the draft.
Oh, in the draft. In the draft, my favorite wide receiver in the draft will probably be the kid from Arizona.
Ted McMillan. Everybody likes it.
I mean, a guy being that big, high catch radius. I mean, my coach always tell me, you can't coach God-given talent. Either you got it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You can teach a motherfucker how to run. You can teach a motherfucker how to sit up there and run routes. You can teach them how to catch. You can't teach them God-given ability. 6'5", big wide receiver. He doesn't have the best 40 time, but shit, you don't have to sit up there and be Randy Moss. Nobody needs Randy. Well, it wouldn't hurt to have a Randy Moss, but, Luther Burden is another good one. But, I'm going to go with McMillan. Luther Burden fell off. I know that's the reason why his stock has dropped because of if this was Luther Burden's freshman year, should he probably be the number one wide receiver in this draft? But this is a bad draft for wide receivers. Not a good one. Not a deep one anyway.
And you know what? Real quick, okay, before you say something, let me give a shout out and RIP and blessings and peace and love to his family, to Kyron Lacey.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard about that, but he unalived himself after a situation flared up where he was involved in a vehicular homicide where I don't know that he was the direct culprit, but he ended up being a kind of side piece to the story. I don't know that his vehicle was directly involved in the contact, but somebody died and prosecutors are blaming him and his move on the road for what happened. And he was going through that. He was training for the combine, training for the draft, knowing that all that stuff was looming. And, they came down with an indictment like right before, this. And I think it was an indictment or something like that, or chose to bring charges or something. And, story goes, he unalived himself, man. And
that's messed up. Yeah, I remember reading about that. Yeah,
broke my heart this morning, man. When I saw that, broke my heart. And I was just like, ain't no way. Kyron Lacey was one of those guys I was going to be talking about here soon as one of those sleeper receivers. You can get later on in the draft. You almost can't go wrong with the LSU receiver. But holy crap, I was just the football player in me, man. I was just like, man, what was he? He just really, I think the trolls online, man. I think the trolls online probably got the best of them, man. People be trolling, and if you're an internet person and your name is coming up in these conversations, and people just these hateful, demonic motherfuckers that don't do nothing but get online just to hate on folks. You gotta. I mean, your emotional maturity has to be at a certain level, man. You got to rise above these people that want to pull you down to where their space is. And so I can only imagine what must have been going on in his head. That's just my thoughts on it. If you guys got any thoughts on it, go right ahead.
It's a very unfortunate situation. Man, this age of social media is just outrageous, man. I mean, you got people now that they will literally sit up there and record someone getting shot, someone getting stabbed, beat up, jumped, about to commit suicide, for what? Instead of getting some type of help, whether it's calling the police, try to talk a person down yourself, and it's an unfortunate situation that happened to this individual. I wasn't too familiar with him, but I did read upon it because it came across my Google. And prayers out to his family And yeah, that's all I can sit out there and say, man. That person, may that brother rest in peace.
Damn, sickening me. Thinking about it right now, I'm just sick to my stomach because he could have overcame that, man. He could have overcame that. And you can be a creature of the moment. You being young and immature and not emotionally. I tell people this all the time, being as a mentor for years. You know, I should tell my boys and kids all the time, like, you're so emotionally immature that you get caught up in the moment and you don't give yourself time to think through what you're about to do. You know what I mean? You don't when you're young and immature. I was doing the same shit. You know what I mean? Getting in fights and shit. Just, you know, it was always, if there's a way out, man, get something in your rearview mirror, man. Get the shit in your rearview mirror. Get the fuck away from it before you make a life changing fucking decision. You know what I mean? This one was a life ending decision because he couldn't get out of the moment. I just wish, like, when I hear stuff like that, I just wish I could have been somewhere near him and could have breathed some good positivity into him and let him know, you know, it's going to be a tomorrow, man. You just got to just keep on getting up and getting it cracking, man. You'll be fine, man. Just keep believing that things can happen well for you. It just makes me sick, man. But let me shut up about it, kid. You got any thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, not many thoughts, man, other than rest in peace to the young brother. Obviously, that's a terrible situation. What more can I say?
Man. Well, we were talking about receivers. Kid, you got any thoughts on receivers before we hop to another position?
So this is one of the two positions that I kind of stayed away from this time around. Stayed away from wide receiver, stayed away from linebacker. I'm just being honest. Those are two I kind of avoided. I like Savion Williams. I like Xavier Restrepo. His stock definitely fell quite a bit because of his performance at the draft. But he's, you know, on tape, he's a really solid slot receiver. I like Isaiah Bond. Got a lot of speed there. Mike Golden. I like Mike Golden as well. That's about, you know, those are the guys that I'm semi-interested in by way of wide receiver. But I'm hoping we do everything but get a wide receiver, except for maybe a little bit later. Like a little bit later on, all right, Savion Williams.
Savion is definitely my receiver crush. But since Kez took that one from me, I'm going to talk about the slot guys who I do think that we're going to draft a slot receiver.
Let me ask you this: do we need another slot guy? Because I mean, we got a lot of short wide receivers.
Yeah, but we got a couple of guys that they only going to be here for a year, unless they extend them past the year. We only going to have them for this year, and so looking forward to the future. While you got the opportunity, you got a couple of really dynamic, nice veterans that can really bring somebody up. Now's a good time to bring a young guy in for when the day that those two dudes ain't here. I don't know that Tyler Scott. I don't think any of those moves would have happened if Tyler Scott was what they wanted him to be. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Scott definitely got the speed. Don't have the damn hands though. Jesus Christ, man, can't catch a damn cold. It's sad, man. It's really sad. Actually, what makes it smarter is shit. You got to give your props to Poles. You know, last year was real heavy on wide receivers, and he went and got one. And this year, shit. Just imagine we had to go get a wide receiver this year.
Man, I think the receiver class is better than people think.
I was just gonna say, I don't know about the receiver class, but free agency. If he needed to get a wide receiver this time around, there's a ton of them out there, and they're relatively inexpensive, right? We're talking about the guys, you know, like Diggs and Amari Cooper, and these are guys who traditionally cost a lot of money.
I think Cooper's on the downside, though, man. Cooper
I think they both are.
The last 3 years, and yeah.
He ready to play his last year or two right now. But I had Emery Hunt from CBS Sports HQ on here Friday, and I was telling him, we were just talking about it right before the show. I was like, man, I think most people are sleeping on like the slot receiver class. I think this is one of the better classes I've seen in a long time. And the slot receiver. Now, I ain't talking about the X and the Z, the perimeter receivers. I'm talking about the guys that work primarily in the slot. This class is dope. I'm telling you, I can probably name you 25 cats right off the top of my head. That's how tough these dudes are, man. When you got a good slot receiver that knows how to, you know, basically shift gears, you got to go in and out of gears as a slot receiver. You got to play in short areas. You got to be able sometimes take a corner deep, but just knowing how to recognizing defenses and knowing what to do when the hot route is called to you. You sitting in the slot. The quarterback is giving you the hot because he sees a certain defense. He expects you to find the hole in a certain area, know how to sit down and be a professional slot receiver. It's some real good ones. Kyle Williams is probably, in my opinion, the best one of the bunch. You know, I like Xavier Restrepo from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think his cat named Kobe. I think, what's Kobe's last name? Chad, help me out, from out of Central Florida. He's a nice one. There's a few of them, man. I mean, this is a dope class to be in if you're looking for a slot receiver for your future. So the Bears are sitting good, man. They already got at least two of those guys, I think, lined up for a top 30. I think Kyle Williams is one, but we scouted the shit out of him over here at the Nomad Network. Man, dude, I'm telling you, that boy is bad. You got to check him out. If you ain't checked him out, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm going to check him out. Yeah, I'm damn sure going to check him out. I haven't got, like, the receiver class has been so weak to me this year that I really haven't even, as my man Kid said, I really haven't even checked it out. You know what I'm saying? Linebackers, I really haven't checked out. DB class is okay. Not too many good safeties, but yeah, those positions I haven't really been able to check out because it's been so weak.
Yeah. Isaiah Bond, we got in some trouble.
Yeah, Bond is a little head case, man. He yeah, his stock is gonna drop.
Yeah, he's coming for a 32, man. He's coming for a 30 visit too, unless they rescinded that offer.
Yeah, and he's an arrogant motherfucker too.
Why you say that?
Well, one thing, his attitude has been well documented over there in Texas. And he came in acting like he was about to break the damn record for combine for the 40. And he ain't come there, he ain't even sniffed that shit.
Man, all I know is I think be honest with you, I think Bond is a one-trick pony, in my opinion. But he reminds you of the kid that just got drafted by KC. He definitely gives you those vibes, man. And
talking about Xavier Worthy. You ever seen his mom?
Yep. Nah, I ain't checked out. Don't get me started because I'll go Google that motherfucker soon.
Hey, Google. Yeah, Xavier Worthy. The thing about Xavier Worthy, to me, Xavier Worthy can actually run. He can actually run routes, and he's frail, but I think he's like listed at 6'1". So the kid, yeah, I was always high on Xavier Worthy. He's supposed to actually been a University of Michigan guy, but something went on with that as far as when it comes down to admissions or whatnot. So, and something else with his mama. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys, man, to talk about, but we can get stuck there talking for the next 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, on the offensive line, man, who's the guy that you like, man? I know you got a guy. There's got to be a guy, whether it's a tackle, guard, whatever it is. Got to be a guy on that offensive line. You just like, man, we need to put this dude in this building.
Well, I mean, we've gone and went back and forth on our podcast. Shout out to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast once again. We went back and forth about Will Campbell. I know some people like Will Campbell. Some people like Banks. One guy that people don't know if he's going to go in the first round or second round because of his injury history is Simmons from Ohio State. You got Connolly. You got I know that there was early on, I don't know if you guys remember, there was big talk about the Bears possibly drafting one of those guards. What's his name? Tyler Woods or something like that?
Tyler Booker.
Booker, yeah. I said Tyler Woods. Tyler Booker. Yeah, there was talk about him as well. But if I had to go with a person that I like the most in this draft, probably be Simmons.
Simmons from Ohio State?
Yeah.
Not a bad one. That's not bad. It's like when you play, a lot of people are going to judge this based off the level of talent that each one of these guys have played against. And that's a good, because most of the time when I get done watching film on a guy, at the end of it, I tend to say, all right, I'm done looking at stuff. I'm done looking at traits. I'm done looking for consistency. How did he compete against the very top competition? And they played against top competition over and over and over again. And you can't take nothing away from Donovan Simmons. You really can't. You really can't, man. And if you watch him against the best competition, man, he fits the bill, man. But he's one of those guards. He's one of those guys that people want to. I don't like when people do this because we don't know what these coaches and GMs are thinking about what to do with these guys. Automatically want to turn them into a guard, and I'm just like, that ain't my place to say. All I know is what I seen him do at tackle, and I liked it. You know what I mean? Like for me, I think Jonah Savaiinaea out of Arizona, I think he's the best overall offensive lineman in this class. He's one of those guys that he can play tackle. He played it on the right and the left side in college. You haven't seen much of him playing guard, but you can look at him and tell he's naturally built for the job. I think he's got the most upside and the most talent of all those guys. You know, only thing you can see is Will Campbell playing left tackle. What happens when the right tackle goes down and he has to go play right? Anybody can tell me they've seen any film of him doing that? Probably not. that makes you a little bit less valuable. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not taking nothing away from him. His tape to me at left tackle is that standout and is that stellar. But he's going to be a one-trick pony. I don't know that what he does translate to the right side because I haven't seen it, bro.
I'm laughing at Trapper Keith. We said this dude likes all Ohio State players who be hurt. Hey, look here. Trust me. This shit hurt even saying Ohio State players. Once again, I am a Michigan fan. Go blue, fuck Ohio State every day of the week. But I can't sit up there and deny the talent that they have. You know,
hey, hold on. Hold on one second. I got to tell you this quick story. I used to be an Ohio State fan until I moved to Columbus, Ohio a while back. And I got to tell you real quick. And one time, you know, you go over to Ohio and live in Columbus, Ohio. That's like there's nothing going on in that town but Jesus.
But Ohio State. Yeah.
That's it. Ain't nothing else going on. So one week they built up that game and the whole town turned red. It was a Michigan Ohio State game in the Horseshoe. And man, Michigan came through there and walked their ass. Just walked them. And I went to work that next day with a Michigan jersey on. I just so happened to have one. I hadn't seen that jersey in a while, but I was like, I know I got one. I'm gonna find this shit. And I wore it to work. Man, those motherfuckers got so mad at me. People was throwing shit at me from man, hey, the supervisor sent my ass home, cuz.
Wow.
Sent me home. I hadn't been to work for 45 minutes. He pulled me into the office and was like, man, dude, I'm gonna pay you just to go sit home. He said, I can't have this shit in here, man. You're not gonna take the jersey off, so I'm not even gonna ask you because you're just trying to troll him. He said, just go home, man. I'm gonna pay you for a day. I was like, shit, fuck all that. I'm gone.
Hell yeah.
But that's how bad it is. And
man. Trust me.
We need to get more supervisors like that. I'll tell you right now.
Man, trust me, I already know. Shit, like I said, I'm go blue all day, and I know how it is when it comes down to that rivalry. There's very few rivalry in sports that match up to that type of rivalry. I mean, hopefully, I hope that the Bears and Green Bay rivalry get back there because they've been kicking our ass the last couple of years. So, shit, I mean, I know they're salty that we beat them, just like Detroit is salty that we took Ben Johnson because for some odd reason, Detroit people tend to think the reason why they lost to Washington was because of Ben Johnson. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but usually when you score 31 points in the game, you usually win that game, don't you?
Most of the time.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels had an answer for every fucking thing they did. He beat their ass. And Ben Johnson ain't got shit to do with that.
Yeah. And Jared Goff had an answer for constantly keep throwing the motherfucking picks too, dude. Oh shit, damn! Just do another one.
What did he throw? Like 4 or 5 that motherfucker?
Yeah, he threw like 4 of the balls that day.
Yeah, damn.
And they still scored 31 points. Like, what you want Ben Johnson to do, man?
How you gonna not place the blame on the quarterback? It's offensive coordinator's fault that he threw 4 picks. Come on now.
I mean, those are some gimmies too, dude.
Yeah. And then they say, oh, he called a play for Jameis Williamson to throw a damn a pass. Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't tell him to throw the fucking ball to the damn defender. If he's not open, son, bitch, keep the ball and run.
Man, I'm telling you, Detroit is going to get to that point couple more times, they're going to get to somewhere in that playoffs, and Jared Goff is going to turn into a pumpkin like goddamn Cinderella did. Every goddamn time.
I've never seen a fan base whose team ain't been shit and God knows how long, and then they've been successful 2 fucking years, and you swear they the fucking Patriots, like they do this shit year in and year out. I said, sit y'all ass down, little kiddies.
Well, wait till we're doing the exact same thing, though. By the way, let's just put that. Let's just.
Hey, we got fucking tradition.
There you go. Let's just foreshadow that right now, because I ain't not shutting up. You know what I mean? I will not be quiet.
We got
when this turn this thing around, I will not be quiet.
I never got into the fanfare, y'all. I never really did. You know, I get the rivalries, the Green Bay and the Detroit, all that Minnesota. I get all that kind of stuff. What I get into is the competition, man. It's like I gotta acknowledge Detroit for how well they stacked that roster and built that roster, and how that's a tough ass goddamn team. When Justin Fields was here, we had answers for their ass every fucking time, and they didn't want. That's like the team they did. We was like the team they didn't want to see on the schedule with Justin Fields, because Justin Fields had a thing for trying to dice them motherfuckers up, man. He had it. He had what they want, what they didn't want. You know what I mean? And you know, but that's the part that I get excited about, is the competition. I want to see this team, this current team, get fired up for those competitive teams like that. And it looks like a competitive game, and we get in position and have the willpower and the team grit to overcome anything that gets in front of us. That's what I'm waiting on. When you go, it's going to be some tight ass spots they're going to be in. Do you have the grit and the will to overcome whatever gets thrown in? I want us to turn into that lawnmower that, like, I don't care how the grass is, we're going to cut it down. You know, we ain't there yet. I want to see us get there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want to see it too. I can't wait. I want to see a high-powered offense. You know what I'm saying? For the first time in a very long time, I want to see the defense flying around. Tell me this: what do you guys think about Caleb?
I'll answer this first, because I know Kez is about to get the watered down version of it out here, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Caleb got a lot to prove to me. He's got a lot to prove to me, not because of anything other than I need to see him rise to the moment when they need him to rise to the moment, not later on in the game when, you know, you're behind and the game's pretty much. I need that guy to, number one, take to heart the coaching. 2 things: take to heart the coaching, get serious about learning how to play in rhythm under center, and get rhythmic when it comes to that. If he can do those 2 things, I gave him a pass for his rookie season. You know, you're a rookie, you know, it's under the circumstances, you know, things was pretty.
But was it that bad?
It wasn't all the time, man. I can like, if I wanted to, I can pull out some all 22 tape on Caleb and just really smash pie in the face of a lot of people who sit up there and don't think he can do anything wrong. But that's not my role here. My role is to try to be supportive as a Bears fan as I can. He's here, and I love the talent. He just there's some things about Caleb and his skill set that he has to add to the toolbox. He's got to learn how to play in rhythm under center and play with his feet. He's not comfortable there yet. And so as great as people think Ben Johnson is, as nice as these picks and these free agents that we just brought in here, and all this stuff seems to align, and we seem to have won the offseason, it's going to be up to him to take the next step. It's going to be up to him, because what I saw last year was brilliant in flashes, but it was just in flashes. You know what I'm saying? The consistency of it, you can tell that they got to a point, where he was uncomfortable being under center, and they just allowed him to get and spread and do USC shit for the most part. That's what they defaulted to. And we watched every game live. Me and Kids called every single game, and we analyzed all of it. And it got to that point. And so he's gonna have to take another step. He's gonna have to take another couple of steps to get this team to the level it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't put as much weight on Caleb Williams I think there was a lot of external factors that cause. Well, Ethereal Sanders kind of said like that. That's a big one, bro. Like to be frank with you, yeah, that's one of the ones that I actually do have a major problem with. I don't mind if you're going to be scrambling and moving around and doing what you're doing, but set your feet, man. Get square, because that's where some of these balls, he's sailing balls sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's the issue behind that. But you know, he wouldn't be running all over the place if he had a viable offensive line. Let's be real about that part too. You know what I'm saying? So like his feet would probably be set a heck of a lot more frequently if he didn't have to be scrambling. You know, more importantly, the kid got little to no guidance last year, and that's where that's where I don't really blame him for the season or you know, his trajectory in the season. He played well. Again, lots of flashes of different things. You know, when he does get the chance to set his feet and you see him, he could do some dangerous things out there, and I'm with it. But the coaching case scenario around him offensively was an absolute nightmare for a rookie quarterback. And that's where I kind of just have to give the kid a pass and say Shane Waldron did not know what he was doing. The entire offense kind of got into Shane Waldron's ass, and you know what I mean? Hey man, like this ain't working. We need to fix this and do this a little bit differently. And he wound up fired a couple of weeks later, right? Like this is how bad this situation is. Everybody recognized it wasn't working. We came to you, we had a conversation with you about about the fact that it ain't working and we needed to fix it. And you fixed it so well, you got fired. You know what I'm saying?
You know something, man? It's like I've seen enough of the film last year to be able to tell you, and I'm qualified to tell you this. For every one play that it didn't look like a really good play call, a really good plan, I can give you 5 that were the right call, the right scheme, the right situation for the moment, and he just fell flat. Didn't see what he needed to see. And so I know when we doling out all that criticism towards, you know, the coaching staff,
it's not the play call that where I would draw the
look at T3 6 weeks it worked, and all of a sudden that guy don't know what he's doing.
No, so, and it's not.
There's something amiss there, kids, and we need to put our finger on that.
It's not the play calling that I really
have major problem.
It's after you finish, you know, and it's something that it's really funny though, because me and you watching them games, we watch Caleb the next game and be like, okay, well he's still doing he's making the same mistake he made last week. I'm sure he should have gone back and watched watch tape with somebody, and they should have had a conversation about this particular thing, so he could actively work to clean that thing up. And we would see these little issues, again, like setting the feet week on week, which led me to believe that whoever's doing tape study with him either ain't doing tape study with him or doesn't know how to do tape study. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I have a strange feeling, and this has sort of come out a little bit. Like what's come out is that Caleb kind of had to go and do his own tape study on his own and hire people to sit with him to start to figure this shit out. And that's embarrassing.
I think there's something missing in that conversation. I you know what? Because there's a dual story going on, and I think Ian Rappaport and I think Waddle and Sylvie might have mentioned this. I seen every now and again I turn that show on when I'm doing something. I need some background noise while I'm working, and it's two sides to that. You hear the story about that got the most traction was, you know, there's nobody doing film with him. Mm-hmm. But we saw on fucking on what's that, Hard Knocks, Flus in there doing film with him. What the fuck is the head coach who isn't an offensive coordinator? He's a defensive coordinator in there breaking down all 22 with Caleb Williams for. Like, do you know how long it takes for a coach to break down an all 22 film with a player? By the time he's done in there, you think he's leaving that room and going into a room with Shane Waldron and doing another hour or two with him? Hell no. He's going home.
Well, hold on now. So you go and you sit with Flus, who doesn't know what he's talking about, really, and you then skip the Shane Waldron conversation.
What have you see, kids? I'm telling
As
you,
a rookie,
as a person that had to sit there and detail my all 22 with my coaches, I can tell you with a surety that shit to be broken. Now I'm talking about conversations in between plays, back and forth between plays, and then you get to the next play. Another conversation about, okay, what did you see here? What would you do there? And all that. C knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. You get done with that, you're gonna go into another room with the offensive coordinator and do another couple of hours of that after practice and all your weight, all the stuff you just did. It's time to go home. He just took all the air out of the room.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say that, and I'm not going to argue with your point. My point is, should he have been doing it with Matt Eberflus at all?
No, that's why I was going. Y'all didn't get it. I was just like, what the fuck is Flus doing all 22 with Caleb Williams?
Well, not only that, but to back your point up, when Thomas Brown became the offensive coordinator, they asked him how many conversations did he have with Caleb? How many times does he watch film with Caleb? He said, I didn't even get a chance. I haven't even talked to the dude. And that's supposed to be like, what is he? The QB's coach?
He was the QB. No, he was the offensive coordinator at that moment.
No. I'm talking about before before they fired Shane Waldron.
So he wasn't QB coach.
He was like
Kerry Joseph was QB
coach or something.
Was he passing game coordinator?
I think he was passing game coordinator.
Yeah, and he stood up there and said, I haven't had not one conversation. I have not sat down and talked to him.
But see, that brings me to the second part. This is the other side of that story. There was a story on Waddle and Sylvia. I just so happened to be listening while I was doing some work. And the word is that this cat didn't want to do the extra work. He was sounded like to me, and this is I don't know, I think it might have been Brad Biggs that gave them that story or something like that. But
I know Cap said that shit.
Huh?
I know David Kaplan said it.
Might have been Kaplan.
Yeah, he said from other sources that the kid doesn't want to work hard or want to be there long and all that type of stuff.
Man, when you like, I was one of them people that I was a PlayStation head, and you get into that PlayStation, Xbox, and all that kind of stuff. You know how much time you fuck around, get old playing them goddamn games because it's so competitive. You want to just keep playing more and more and more and more of it. And every chance you get, you want to play some more. That's probably a lot of his problem right now. He can't wait to get home and play, you know what I mean?
Buy the man a PlayStation and put it in Hallis Hall.
You just gotta say no to that when you're Caleb Williams.
I hear what you're saying, but there's different ways. There's different ways to skin these cats out there, man. Put the PlayStation in the building. Don't leave the building. Go take 5. Go shoot some people. Come back, and we're gonna do this damn. We're gonna watch film. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna accommodate you and your PlayStation Jones. Go do it.
I think Caleb was good, and I think he was bad. One thing that I didn't like from Caleb, and you never really want to admit this as being a quarterback or anybody in any type of sports profession, you don't want to sit up there and tell them what you don't like to do. And he said, I don't like to run. Because how many times were we literally sitting there watching the game, and we like, shit, ain't nobody open. Run the fucking ball. It's not like he's not fucking Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of wiggle to him. He may not be the fastest quarterback, but he does have speed. I've seen him get around the edge on a couple goddamn people. He has wiggle to him. He has a strong lower base. Run the fucking ball and slide. That's all you have to do. You don't have to sit back there and constantly keep patting around because he'll juke the shit out you when you're coming at him. I mean, how many times did we sit up there and have him where he had defenders looking like fools back there in the backfield, but then still decides not to run with the ball? You have to sit up there and run. Use your athleticism and run. He has a rocket for an arm. Oh my God, the boy got a strong ass arm. But like someone said, him setting his feet, which probably threw off his deep ball, because shit, I tell you like this, his deep ball was fucking terrible. But I would much rather have him overthrow a motherfucker than underthrow a motherfucker. Because
Or
when you're
not throw
underdog,
it at
that's when
all.
shit get picked.
Or not throw it at all. See, another thing too, man, I got to mention this because this is real life shit. And when I was in school, I had a position coach, a DB's coach that knew as soon as we left the building, man, me and my homies, I had three of my roommates was DBs. Two of my roommates was DBs. And we go to the house, and that's the first thing we did, stinking, sweaty, ain't took no shower before we left the facility because, number one, I didn't like taking a shower in the facility. Co-ed showers, nasty motherfuckers be peeing in the shower and all kind of crazy shit. And so I couldn't, I leave there. Normally, I just leave, take my shit, and go take a shower at the house. But everybody with my homeboy had the PlayStation. We was playing old ass 007. GoldenEye. We was playing old ass GoldenEye. We would all take characters, and that's what we was doing. We wasn't doing what we were supposed to be doing. We was fucking freshmen, man. We were supposed to be in the playbook. We were supposed to be, working on little stuff that we could be working on, but we was busy. That's young boy shit, man. When you ain't a pro and you want to,
I can't blame you for that, man. Everybody needs to get their odd job on. You know what I mean?
He said, I'm gonna come over there and break that motherfucker. If I find out y'all going to the house one more time, he popped up on her. He said, I'm gonna break that motherfucker. If you motherfuckers want to get to the next level, this is what you're gonna have to do. And he gave us the itinerary. This is what you're gonna have to get done in a week. Put that motherfucker down and learn how to be a pro. That's you learning that in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
man, I'm with you, man. But like I say, there's ways of thinking outside of the box, man. You bring that into you make that a part of the program. It's different ways. There are different schools of thought for everything.
Strolls is right. We was sitting there musty as hell.
PlayStation.
Oh, man, it was a badass game, Scrolls. I know you know.
Hey, that game is fun as fuck.
Stinking, man. But all our ass need to be in the shower, but we couldn't wait to get back to it. That's how it is, man. Video games are that addictive. Y'all know that, man.
Yeah.
But when you immature and you don't know that, like Caleb, like he rests on his talents, man. His talents are overwhelmingly higher than most guys in his position. You can rest on your laurels and depend on your talent, or you can sharpen up and chisel up your skill set and morph them into what they need you to be. And clearly, to me, I don't know what to believe in between those two stories, but somewhere the truth lies in the middle, right?
It's definitely a little bit of both. I think it's a situation again where, coaching was lackluster and Caleb probably lost faith in it and then decided, you know what, I really like to play Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like it was probably a little bit of a combination of all the above.
You're probably thinking why you doing that sometimes.
Maybe. I'm not interested in Caleb Williams' hygiene. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's all him. But yeah. I'm just being real. Like it was more likely a little bit of a hybrid situation. And I think a lot of it had to do with just general faith in the coaching staff. And if you don't have faith in the coaching staff, you're not really going to put your all into this thing. I have a strange feeling, and like Ben Johnson said one thing in one of the interviews that sort of just lives rent free in the back of my mind, and it is somebody was asking him how are you going to make things easier for these guys during the preseason during the training camp and how are you going to make things easier for the transition, from the old offense to what you're trying to put down? And he got this weird look in his eye and he's like, oh yeah, this ain't going to be, I think this ain't going to be easy at all. Yeah. So there's that. And that was his answer. It's like, this is supposed to be hard work. Yeah. We're going to work hard.
That answer that he gave.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was like agreeing with her, but like completely disagreeing with the idea that I'm not doing anything to make this easy. These guys are going to come in here, put in the hard work, and we're going to achieve the understanding of this new scheme, this new offense. And when he said that, I was like, man, I think we just might have got the right coach.
And, you got to make people like I can remember, and I hate to keep using myself, but this is applicable. we're talking about, you ever heard that conversation between Deion Sanders and Asante Samuel's talking about T-stepping and bicycle pedaling and stuff like that, and the difference between it. Me knowing what that is, like T-stepping is for typically a slew-footed corner. We had one on our team when I was in school, and coach used to try to beat that shit out of him, but that was just his normal, the way his foot rhythm worked. Versus me, I'm a back pedal guy. I can come out of my back pedal transition flawless without missing a step. It's not a stutter step. It's not I'm stopping. I can run forward as fast as I can run backwards. And out of it, those kinds of things, man, you learn. It's like basically what I'm trying to get at is with Caleb Williams it's going to be whether or not he's willing to be receptive to doing things that is going to get him out of his comfort zone. And so what I did was try the technique that the coaches were trying to teach me, and it didn't feel natural to me. And one time my coach got frustrated with me and he called me up to his office. He's like, we got to have a conversation. I thought he was going to be like, hey, we about to ship your ass back to Chicago. And he was just like, dude, what's more comfortable to you? What I'm teaching you or what you want to do? And those conversations have to be had, and sometimes they're uncomfortable. And I said, I told him, I said, man, just let me be me, and I guarantee you'll see the results. He said, I believe that. Go ahead and be you. Get back to being you. Sometimes a coach can try to coach something out of you that he doesn't need to, and that's over coaching, versus somebody trying to coach something into you that you actually need to perform your job better. And I think Caleb Williams is going to run into that conundrum, and this is not going to be easy for him. And he's going to have to get comfortable with doing things that he's not comfortable with doing. Yeah. And I think that's the bottom line. If he gets better, he's going to have to get comfortable doing those things.
Definitely. And one thing I think that sort of was a disservice to the kid is that I remember we were talking about this when we first drafted Caleb Williams, and we wanted to tell everybody, just cool down on all the hype. Don't come in here and think that this kid going to throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and all this. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he's a rookie. There will be a rookie wall that he's going to be hit, hit with. And then not only that, he's a rookie. He's never seen these defenses before. Don't put all this pressure on him. You put an unfair pressure onto a kid. You're expecting him, his rookie season, to throw for more yards than any Bears quarterback ever has, to have more passing touchdowns than any Chicago Bear quarterback ever has. And that's just not fair. It wasn't fair on him. And then when he doesn't live up to those expectations, you got a lot of people out here saying, oh, man, he had a bad rookie year. How is having 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions a bad rookie year? He never was the type of quarterback in college where he threw a lot of picks. Now, he did fumble the ball a lot, but that's one thing that he didn't do this year. He did not fumble the ball a lot. In his 3 years in college, I think he had over 30 fumbles. Clearly, I don't think he fumbled the ball 10 times this year at all.
Clearly was one of his weaknesses. It was clearly one of his weaknesses.
Yeah, clearly one of his weaknesses.
Yeah, that was one of the things that a lot of people was just like, Caleb, running around with that ball in one hand, scrambling around. You need to put 2 hands on the ball so you can get some more ball security. You can definitely change that. He was conscientious of that. But, man, dude, I think if he just takes to Ben Johnson the way I hope he does, we could see a significant jump in Caleb Williams, not only because, one thing you can do to help a quarterback right away is to take a lot of responsibility off of his plate. How do you do that? Get your offensive line right, make sure you got the right running backs behind them, establish a dominant run game, and you don't have to ask him to do so much. And that right there is probably 50% of the correction he needs. He threw the ball too many damn times. I don't know how much he's going to like having to hand the ball off 30, 40 times a game, 35 times a game. You think he's going to take to that, or he's going to be like bristling a little bit and like, let me throw the ball, let me be me? I wonder about that.
I mean, he says that he's all about winning. He really don't care about the stats. So we're going to begin to see that right now. Hopefully, coming into the season, like I said, I think he does need a better running back than DeAndre Swift. The line does need to get better. I'm actually want to see what Ben Johnson would do with a receiver like DJ Moore, because to me, DJ Moore is a better wide receiver than St. Brown. Damn sure after the catch. DJ Moore is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL when he has the ball after the catch, because he turns into like a damn running back. He's quick, he's shifty, he's hard to take down. I can't wait to see his numbers that he put up, because we saw him put up, 1,300 yards when he was with Justin. And people were sitting up there saying,
he froze for a second.
Justin ain't shit. You
back?
see Cole Kmet last year. Cole Kmet last year looked fucking terrible because he wasn't getting the ball.
If he didn't,
after coming off a career year with Justin Fields, that a lot of people wanted to run out of the city.
Fucking DJ should have been upset, man, because I tell you right now, if Caleb would have connected with him on 50% of some of those opportunities, man, some of the time that he was open, I'm saying right now we don't want at least 5 more games.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the simple fact that he was able to connect with DJ on some of them opportunities. He just missed them opportunities just because the chemistry wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's the key right there. It's about chemistry. It's about symmetry and making sure everybody's on the same note when they sing the goddamn song. If you don't, either you got that shit, and I'm talking about that goes for all phases of the game. Not just quarterback receiver, but all phases of the game. But since we talking about quarterback receiver, either you got that shit going or you don't. It was clear, obvious, kids, was it not? We was watching games, DJ, that time when DJ just walked off the field. He was just like, man, god damn.
Yeah, there was no cohesion there. There's no cohesion with, and this is part of what I like about the setup this time around. And like, I hate to say, bye to Keenan Allen, but I think it's actually just for the best. Caleb was able to sort of zero in on Keenan most of last season.
And how many drops did he have?
He had a couple early in the season, but then things started to get a little bit better, after. But you're going to have a lot of drops if you're like the only guy he's targeting, and that's where things went a little bit sideways. He would kind of refuse to target Cole. He would refuse to target DJ if Keenan Allen might be available. And he might hit Rome over top of Cole if Rome's available, or he might sky everybody, right? It was just a little bit interesting to sort of see. I like the fact that we don't have and this is like a dumb thing to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like, we don't have like an all-pro receiver in the middle of the field. It's weird to say that, but now he can sort of focus on distributing the rock in different places, right? I think Keenan Allen had a weird effect on this team, which also prevented Tyler Scott from seeing the field at all, right? So, move him out. We've now got Zacchaeus, we've got Duvernay, we've got Scott in the middle. Change these guys out, see what happens. You got a little rotation there, but most importantly, Caleb can start to focus on the X, the Y, and the tight end that he's got available. That's half my issue with where things were last season.
All right, two more real quick questions before kids meds start making them drool on the show.
Bro, they're killing me, bro. Kicking my ass.
We're gonna get him up out of here. I got a couple more questions, real quick. Now this might take a little bit, but trade up. What's the likelihood? Is it worth it to anybody? Is there a guy that you guys feel like, okay, if the Bears see a position to pounce and trade up, is there a guy there, and who is it?
I don't know. If I say a dual call, I think Trapper Keeper gonna get mad at me because he said I keep picking people that's injured and shit. So
I saw that.
He said he likes everybody that's injured. Well, shit, they good when they ain't. I think, to me, the only person worth trading up to is a dual collar. And that's only if he falls. I'm fucking not trading up to number 2 to get him.
Hey, Derek, I'm saying that DJ can be a Pro Bowler if there isn't a Pro Bowler in the middle already. He'll get more looks. So that's what I'm hoping for this season, is that the X and the Y just get a lot more looks. There's a lot more balls thrown over there. But back to the question at hand. Genty, you know what it is. I would hate personally. I hate the idea of even thinking of trading up in this draft. They don't really have the capital to do this. But let me give you the capital that I would be like okay with letting go of. It would be like a third rounder next year. I wouldn't touch any of the capital in this particular draft. But a third rounder next year to move up a little bit, okay. Get yourself some Genty.
All right. My thoughts simply are this. I think highly of quite a few players that's going to go in that top 5, top 10. The guys that really like, here's what this is the baseline for my answer. To me, last year was a huge, even though we got a really good player and a really good punter out of it, last year was a big ass fumble to me. And as much as I love Romo Dunze, I think the right pick was Talise Fuaga, the left tackle out of I think he was at Oregon State or something like that, Oklahoma State, one of the two. And I had Emery Hunt on here from CBS the other day, and we were talking about that, and he was just like, man, you're about right when it comes to that, because, right about now, you thinking in hindsight, we discovered that we have a serious flaw. We have serious flaws on our offensive line, and we were so busy trying to make sure that Caleb had the weapons that, all that kind of stuff. We forgot about the baseline, and that is making sure you're right in the trenches so that your quarterback can be able to throw that ball around. You could have waited to got a receiver. And so what I'm getting at is, I think if you move up, which I think is a bad idea, I think Abdul Carter is one of those guys, because it's also still in the trenches. You've got two big edge rushers that can really provide pressure. Dio is going to be a nice edge rusher and an interior player, but he's also not the speed edge rusher that you would like to see on that side on third downs as well. It wouldn't bother me if they jumped up and did an Abdul Carter, even though I don't think they need to. Mike Green is out there, Donovan Ezra-Raku. If you want a speed edge rusher, there's guys out there. You don't need to jump and do that. So, I don't think they should jump, but if there's a guy, it'll probably be Abdul Carter, or maybe even Will Campbell. I would be happy with either one of those if they did that.
Let me ask you this, Nomad. I know you were talking about the offensive lineman, about who the Bears should have took last year when you was talking to Emery. I've been on record saying, does it matter? Because does it matter if the players are hurt? It don't matter who you draft. If the players are not available, that goes to shit. And that's one thing that we have definitely went through when it comes down with the Chicago Bears. Because like I said, they had over 120 different combos the last 3 years. I don't think the Bears offensive line is as bad as people make it out to be. I think, one, the offensive line coach is fucking terrible. I think, two, one thing about being on the offensive line that makes a great offensive line is that you got to have some type of continuity. Guys were always hurt, so you couldn't get that continuity. So that in itself will make your offensive line look worse than what it is. I mean, then you kind of look at it last year. Towards the end of the season, we had motherfuckers that was off the street starting. So if we did go get a Fashanu or the offensive lineman that you were talking about earlier, I have zero faith in Chris Morgan developing that motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting point. No,
now, my guy, you got to say this too, man. And this is just giving credit where it belongs. Now, I'm thinking about Braxton Jones, even though Braxton Jones.
I skip leg day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, oh my God, he just ain't got it from the waist down, man. He just ain't got it. But when you talking about getting a guy and you projecting what he can be, Braxton Jones has definitely elevated. You know what I mean? He has become, and even his best ain't good enough. You know what I mean? But that came with some tutoring and some coaching and some bringing up. Yeah, I now to your point, you get a guy like Talise Fuaga. Does he have the same upside as a Braxton Jones? I don't know, man. But I got to give him some credit. Braxton Jones has performed, dude. He's given his best. Dude,
for a fifth round pick, absolutely.
Way overplayed what I thought he can be. Way overplayed what I thought he can be, and I thought he can be pretty good. But I think whoever comes in here, and I do think we're gonna draft a left tackle, no question about it. What happens? Can Braxton Jones? His problem is going to be he's not going to be ready for training camp, and he's going to open up that vacuum for somebody to come in there and take that role. Yeah. And can he battle back and take it back? That's going to be the question we're going to be talking about in a few months.
Well, It doesn't matter if he can, and that's the luxury of, that's the advantage of drafting another left tackle, is that he becomes a swing tackle, and that makes him one of the better swing tackles in the NFL. Right, like this is exactly where I am mentally with that particular pick and position. Yeah, get yourself a left tackle in the second round. You're good to go. You're good to rock and roll. He's by draft stock alone, he should be a little bit of an upgrade from Braxton. And if that pans out, we're doing pretty good, right? So that's my thoughts on that. The other piece to it though is if they didn't get Rome when they got him, where do they get a wide receiver?
They were there.
Where? In the draft?
Like I wish I had my mind on that draft like I have it on this draft, but there were definitely guys there.
No, there weren't. There weren't. He could have traded.
There were guys there, but
he could have traded back and maybe got a Brian Thomas Jr. or traded back and got a Keon Coleman. There's like a couple of guys or waited again, another trade back case scenario and got himself
where the fuck is his
name? Xavier Worthy. So there's a couple of guys available there that they could have got in that draft, but he clearly identified Rome as his guy. He got his guy. I'm not like the thing I'm mad at him for is not the Rome pick. It's the trade. It's the packaging of the fourth round, the fourth round pick to get Keenan Allen on the team. That's the one that I'm like, oh man, like if you just kept that one extra pick, we'd be in a really nice spot. Could have got yourself a wide receiver there. You could have got yourself an offensive lineman there, again with a little bit more stock than
I agree
Braxton, but they did get Karan, right? They got Karan. So really where I'm going with all this is we would have probably got Bucky Irving in the fourth round. Like that's the guy we would have got, and the running back room would probably look a little bit better, but hey. Hindsight is 2020.
I want to address speak to the mic. He says I call bullshit the fact that we had to replace 3 out of 5 players off this line possibly foretells you how bad this damn line has been. No, it doesn't. I never said that the line was fucking great. I said the line could have been better. I mean, of course, you would sit up there and you will replace guys if you coming in with probably a future Hall of Famer at left guard, one of the better centers in the NFL at the center position, and a guy that's got tremendous upside, but was a little bit hurt last year in Jackson. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, give me 5 good offensive linemen instead of 2 fucking all pros. Because if something happens to those 2 all pros, or all you got is 2 all pros and then the rest of the line is shit, then your line is going to be shit. But if you got 5 good offensive linemen that got continuity, give me that shit every day of the fucking week. Every day of the fucking week.
I'm going to support you a little bit because I'm an all 22. I scoured the shit out of it, and I had to because, you're going to do podcasts, in my opinion, and Five-Mouth C is like me. He's got strong taste. He's got strong conviction. You have to see something, to be able to have a point of view, in my opinion. You see something live during a game, and you just, to make these broad assumptions like this whole offensive line is just bad. There's more to it than that. You got to look at the consistency of the play. There were times when I can support C when he says this line wasn't that bad all the time. It was times when they way overperformed what you thought they were capable of, but it was in spots. You know what I mean? It was times during games I seen Caleb with very, very nice pockets to throw in with plenty of time to throw it. Sometimes he just held the ball too long and didn't vacate the pocket when he should have. Instead of doing that, he was playing whirler derby, running around doing circle eights and shit. And they did their jobs. I tell you, when it got bad enough, when I knew, I can't remember which game it was, but it was definitely after the Washington game, maybe 2 games after that, whichever game that was. But I remember looking at this film, and I started. This is when I really started getting bothered.
It was either Arizona or the Patriots.
Rams, Patriots or Rams or Arizona.
One of y'all, I think I might have been the Patriots. There was a couple of times when Caleb got put on his ass a couple of times. And I called my homeboy. He's also a player. I was just like, dog, what do it mean when the quarterback get put on his ass and the offensive line don't come pick him up? He said, well, they ain't fucking with me. They got to a point last year where the offensive line wasn't fucking with Caleb. And I don't know what all that shit was about. But that's a bad omen, bro. Yeah. That's a bad omen. I can remember one time when who was that? Might have been Tevin Jenkins, and I was just guessing what he must have came to the huddle and told him. And I think he might have grabbed him by his arm and said, hey man, stop running around so much. The pocket is there. He was running when he didn't need to be running. And that's just what he was used to doing.
Well, he was scared shitless, bro. Right? Like, and this is the flip side of it. He's scared shitless. He doesn't know what to do. So now there's a clean pocket, and he's so used to this thing collapsing, off he goes running. Right? Like, I would have done the same thing as a rookie. Right? Like, we have to throw those words in there every time we talk about it because it's just the facts. Once you get used to Braxton getting bull rushed all the time, hey, there's a problem on this side. Like, I do have to also give, like, the real issue with the offensive line had everything to do with injury last year. Like, these dudes were like, Bill Murray came in, played some great football, and was immediately hurt.
Damn, gone.
Like, it was like, okay, wait a minute. What about Jake Curran? Jake Curran came in and played some real good football, yo. Bam, gone. It was almost ridiculous, especially given just sort of the nonchalant nature of Nate. You know, Kevin definitely wanted to be there. He definitely wanted to play. But, yeah, this is speak to the mic, man.
Yeah, Mike, he's right about that. He is right.
And this is what I was about to say.
Read it out, kids.
All right. So Speak to the Mic podcast show says Karan hasn't been given a real chance to see what he's made of. It was coaching malpractice to throw him out there versus a Vikings team that blitzes more than anyone and not provide any support or help. Yup, like I couldn't say that any better than you just laid it down. And guess what though? He might just wind up being that left tackle that starts for the Chicago Bears in the year 2025. Don't count him out. He had a little couple of shaky games. He wasn't ready for it. Didn't have an off-season training camp. Wasn't really in football shape. Wasn't expected to play. He didn't have a combat. Wasn't expected to play, right? So maybe if Braxton's still hurting, which it's like all signs are pointing to Braxton still being hurting when we get to training camp. All the more reason for Karan Amagaji to sort of step up to the plate and grab the brass ring and run with it. I hope he does.
Yeah. I mean, I totally
we might be drafting a left tackle.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's so crazy. This is why they call fans fanatics. You had people literally sitting up there saying, like, this guy's a bust. I said, this dude hasn't even played a full 2 games. How are you calling this man a bust? Like, and the crazy part about it, like, we podcasters, you got guys that get paid to sit up here and do this shit. And they literally say that this kid is a bust. I'm like, how the fuck can you even say that if the guy ain't even played a full 2 games? He had 0 combine, 0 fucking off season. He wasn't there for training camp. None of that. Wasn't even healthy. And then when they do put him in the game, remember, somebody also scored a touchdown off of them on that game, in that Washington game, because he cleared out 2 motherfuckers. That was Karan Amagaji. They put him in the game. They don't give him no fucking help at all. Yeah, go out there. And then the crazy part, they didn't tell him they was going to start until what? A day before the damn game?
Well, that's because I think that's because somebody else got hurt. Like, just consider what we're talking about. I think that was a situation where I think Darnell was hurt and Pryor was playing on that side before, on the left side, backup. So he had to swing all the way over to the right. And now we had Bill Murray's gone, Curran's gone.
Well, it goes back to my point.
Nobody else.
Everybody's hurt. It doesn't matter. Like, I keep seeing people saying we could have picked for Fashanu and all that. It doesn't matter if these motherfuckers is hurt. It don't matter who you pick. You could have picked, goddammit, Anthony Munoz. If his big ass ain't out there fucking blocking or able to play, it don't matter. You got him. He ain't playing. His ass going out like Bill Murray, just like that. The damn center, just like that. The damn right guard, just like that. Left tackle, just like that. Okay. The center, it doesn't matter. Everybody kept going out. Somebody get in. Oop, there go another person. He gone.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I would want to ask y'all, man, because this happens so goddamn much, but I don't know that people realize how much it happens. Like, how many times during the game do you think a guy gets rolled up on the back of his legs, talking about an offensive lineman, and has to go out? Like, how many times do you think that's going to happen during the game?
Shit, about 3 or 4. Maybe not to the same person, but to an offensive lineman.
It's going to be at least 5 or 6 roll-ups. Okay. It's going to be at least 5 or 6 roll-ups. You know, some of them are more serious than others. Somebody might miss a play or two. Some of them might miss nothing, but then be out the next game and just tough through it. But those shits happen all the time. This is why, and this is to end my in the conversation for the night. I don't think we need to do a mock draft because the conversation was too damn good to mess it up with a mock draft. Unless you want to do one. See, you want to do a mock, we'll stay here and do a mock if you want one.
Nah, I can't do a mock, but I would love to do a mock, but I can't do one tonight.
Don't worry, we'll bring you back on.
Definitely bring you back. I love to come back on though, especially after the draft, because I think the draft is in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Getting close.
Yeah.
11 days, shit.
Yeah.
So here's my last comment and question. This is to the trade back, not trade up, but trade back.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I know most people want to do it just to accumulate picks, but like for me, and I'm just gonna make a statement, y'all can do what you want with it. My thoughts about trading back is to make sure you bona fide the trenches. I think we did a really good job this offseason to make sure that we have our first wave of players. Our 11 on both sides of the ball, I think, is right and tight for the most part. Now, to have a bona fide team and to be making the point next to what I was just talking about with how many times guys get rolled up on the offensive line and things like that, your second 5 needs to be as good as your first 5, whoever's coming in rotation. And so I don't think they did enough yet to make sure, like, one of these days, like, if Braxton Jones wins the left tackle role, then he won it. He just won it fair and square, and he's the best tackle there, no matter who we draft or whatever. But whoever is coming in behind him to swing, I need that cat to be competent. When Joe Tooney has to go out and he misses a game, Jonah Jackson has to miss a game. When Dahlman has to miss a game, what's his name over there, Darnell Wright. Who's the guy to replace him? That's why I want to move back, to make sure we get fortified behind our starting 5. And so, to me, I think if Ryan Poles gets in a position to where he can trade back and get off of 10, this is why. At the end of the day, when people get through talking about Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, all that sexy ass shit, fuck all that. Dude, we have to be winners in the trenches. We need backup. Yes, the first wave of those guys on both sides of the ball is nice. But what happens when they go out? Do we have the guys to replace them? And we're going to find out somewhere during this season next year. Did we do what we needed to do? That's why my trade back me and trade back is like family right now. I know we need a whole bunch more guys.
Well, I generally have no problems with a trade back. I'm up for it. Same token, I kind of question all that depth issue. Like the depth that got to play last year did very, very well. Problem again was straight up injury. So maybe this was a strength and conditioning situation more so than anything else. I thought Bill Murray played well. I thought Jake Curran played really well when they had to step up to the plate. Curran played terribly, but I don't hold him against. They don't hold that against him, considering all the other stuff. So it's I don't know how much more depth. Like how many realest question in the world? How many offensive linemen do you think they're going to go into the season with?
They'll be, you talking about keeping on the roster for the 53?
For the 53.
9 or 10 without question.
Got to, especially the way we get hurt. Jesus.
Yeah. You gotta have a low end of the spectrum would be you keep 10, and that goes to how many receivers you want to keep on.
So let's scope that out. So Braxton, Tooney, Dahlman, Jonah, and Darnell Wright. So there's your starting five. Behind them we have Bill Murray, Karan Amagaji, Jake Curran, Ricky Stromberg.
We still got Larry Bourne.
Who?
Larry Bourne.
No, Bourne's gone. He's gone.
Bourne's gone. Okay.
I think Ricky Stromberg, Ryan Bates. So there's 10 already. We're gonna go and draft one, and you think we should draft another one? I'm just putting realistic numbers out there when it comes down to the 53.
They need a tackle and a guard.
I agree with you. I'm just not sure they're gonna get that this year.
They better get it. I don't think this needs to be a very sexy draft for Chicago this year.
I would definitely go for the tackle because I think as far as offensive line, I think it's probably the deepest, besides running back, it's probably the deepest position in this year's draft. So I'm definitely down for trading back and getting an offensive lineman with one of those second round picks. Yeah, we can definitely trade back, and and if we trade back, just think about it. More than likely, depending on where we trade back at, we're going to probably pick up another second or third round pick, which would be a good thing.
See,
at worst, we'll get a fourth, but we'll get probably another second or third round. Like we go from 10 to 18, I'm pretty sure there would be like a second round in that. 10 to 20, I'm pretty sure it'd be a second round in that. If we go like from 10 to probably like 12 or 13, it might be a third round in that.
All right. Yeah. You know what? See, I may have set y'all up the wrong way. What do you think we going into the draft? Well, we got 7 picks now. What are we going into the draft needing?
He says. Ethereal Sanders.
What are we going into the draft needing at this point?
We damn sure got. To me, the top 3 positions is running back, defensive line, and offensive line.
Yep.
I'm not one of them people. I don't want a Tyler Warren because shit. To me, tell you the truth, Tyler Warren ain't shit. We already got a Tyler Warren. His name is Cole Kmet.
Well, one of these two can block. I'm not going to say which one, but we'll leave it like that. We'll leave it like that.
But both of them, I don't even call them Cole Kmet. I call him Big Stiffy, man. He's stiff as fuck. So that's why I call him Big Stiffy. But offensive line, defensive line, and running back are our top priorities this offseason.
I think you're right there in the groove, man. You're in the pocket. I still think because we just signed a couple dudes on 1-year contracts, I still think slot receiver. I think you probably want to use one of them. I don't know how early, but if you can, you get the right slot guy at the right time. I think you draft one of them. But I'm A1 with you on that. Make sure you get it. Whatever you do, get it in the trenches. Get the running back you want. At least one of them.
Yeah, it gets cold in Chicago, baby.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts about trading back. I'm just making sure. I want to make sure that we get all we need for attrition that happens during the season, and we got qualified people to back up the guys that we got. You know what I mean? That's I just don't want to see a letdown. I see that, like, again, kids and me doing the games live and knowing that certain guys weren't going to be in the rotation because they was hurt. I'm just like, oh boy, it's going to be a long ass game. You know, when you got Matt Pryor that's coming all the way from the right guard position to have to go play left tackle.
Yeah.
And he played it pretty well, you know what I mean, for a guy that just had to hop and go over there and play it. Man, that dude was so fucking valuable this year. I mean, Matt Pryor was a dog.
They let him go, bro. They let him go back to Philadelphia. He's gone.
Man, that might have been a mistake.
I wish I could argue with that because I thought he played. Shout out to the Chicago Clubhouse Network, man. Good to see you guys in
shout out to the podcast, baby.
Shout out to y'all, man. Any other thoughts before we get ready to wrap this thing up? Anything that we didn't cover? See, especially you, man. You being the guest on here, being our special guest. Anything that you want to talk about that we didn't get to? I hate to leave our guests flat, man. It might have been a thing or two that you might have wanted to speak on.
Nah, man. I mean, we talked pretty good. Other than I'll agree with somebody on that. Tell you the truth, I think Colston Loveland is the best tight end in this draft. He's got more Kelsey to me than
I clowned by this guy when I selected him in my first mock drive. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Loveland's nice.
I think he's the best. I think he's the best receiving tight end in the class.
Oh, no doubt.
I think he's the best. To me, he plays like a giant receiver.
He plays like a Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
he's got the wiggle and stuff like a Travis Kelce. Now he's not a great blocker. You know what I'm saying? But you can always work on that. But as far as catching, route running, speed, yeah.
Not tonight, Jimmy. We got the guys. You know, people got stuff to do. Kids is going to start drooling. We got to get him out of here, man, so he can get some sleep. We don't need that. We don't need that. That's the last thing we need is Luther Vandross drooling on the podcast like that.
Woo. Oh snap! Sorry guys, straight up, I'm on some new meds and they're kicking my ass tonight, man. So we'll draft on Wednesday for sure.
All right, yeah, we'll get it popping, man. And I got a surprise coming from you all. Hopefully sometime this week. You're thinking about, so I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but I think I can say this confidently. Ethereal Sanders, who was on with us for Nomad at night, for some extra sauce, has become a regular. He's going to become a member of the Nomad Network. And I cannot wait to get him into the fold and really embellish and really get him open, because the guy is so freaking intelligent, is off the charts. But his skill set and what he can bring to the table is not only upfront podcast as an individual related as a featured member, but what he can bring to the table in other areas, man. I cannot wait to see what he's willing to offer to the network and help us grow, man. So welcome, Ethereal Sanders.
Welcome. Congratulations.
And I'm gonna save the second one. Too. He's on the podcast and we can talk about it. But I got another one we're gonna add to the fold too, man. We're gonna have and also too, man. We Feed the Bears. I think we're gonna turn that into a daily podcast, and we're gonna do little features and things like that. But we want to do that regularly in the day. I think the videos are okay, but I think people want more podcasts, more daily content, like in regular hours between 12 and 3 o'clock. They want some people out there as opposed to your 670 The Score and your CHGO. They want to see people who come out and compete with them. And I think we're gonna put something together to put a podcast out there to help. You'll see. We're gonna put it together, but yeah, you guys gonna get a whole lot more content, and we've been putting out a lot more content. So look forward to that. And I'm gonna pass it to my guy, File My Seat, before Kez gives his pleasantries, because he's a guest. Any shout outs to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I want to thank you, brothers, Kez, Nomad, for bringing me on, man. It was a pleasure talking ball with you guys, man. I love it. Love to come back on and talk more ball with you guys. Shout out to the chat. The chat was lit tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. A couple people that I know that come over from the Clubhouse podcast. A couple people that I've seen with my man Sports Chicago with my boy the Superback. He had a couple of his people that be on there commenting as well. I saw them like Squalls and a couple other people and Squalls. I saw them. They usually on there as well. Also want to give a shout out to my brothers at the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Our super producer, the Crooked Commish. You guys know who he is. My man T-Nick, my boy JB, Mr. Chicago, Frank the Tank. You know, we come on every Tuesday, the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Check us out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. No, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 8 o'clock p.m. Check us out every Tuesday, the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And by the way, I'm definitely down to coming on there and doing a show. And all you got,
man. Hey, we're gonna have you on, man. We're gonna have you on, man.
I'm your husband. All you gotta do is hit me up. I'm there. I'm down.
Sir.
We all about flowering each other, man. Flowering these podcasts, growing up.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
down just the same.
We're here to help each other, man.
Yep. Any shout outs, kids, before we get out of here? Because I got a whole lot to say.
Well, I'll give shout outs to the big love to all the folks who showed up here today. Yeah, Frank the Tank was definitely with us tonight. So was the Crooked Commish, Smitty Q, Cornelius Squalls, Create Culture was with us, Dobbsy 34, White Ghost, Ron C in the place to be, Paul Rodriguez, Swifty was with us tonight, and so was Barlissimo, jumped in tonight. We had a pretty cool
Barlissimo.
Yeah, we had a pretty cool little chat thing going on. B Shep 23 held it down. Illy Jones was with us all night long. Jock Jones, I caught you earlier in the chat. Thanks for coming through. Definitely like, share, subscribe, and do that over on my channel too. Let me get some media assets popping here. Where am I at? Nomad, you're usually all up in this thing.
Oh, dog, my bad. I'm responding to my bad. Hold on, my mouse done went dead. You caught me flat, dog. You're right. I usually do this.
You're all over the map here. My mouse went dead.
I saw Illy talking about a show, man. I like King of Queens. I like them old ass shows, man. Fucking Arthur cracks me the fuck up on that show, man. I can watch that over and over.
There we go, man. Give me a little bit of love out there. Like, share, subscribe. We're always multi-streaming, but like I say, it's best if you guys stay in this chat just to get chat love, because the chat's always bumping, man. We had a full house here for the most part. Scrolls cracking jokes. In the Grass was with us as well. Aunt Mass, AC Adam. Who I just missed there? I did. Chris Foster was out there with us tonight, aka Real Bears fan. Sophisticated Thoughts was with us tonight. No Love for Don Byrne tonight. Nick Rembert was with us tonight. The Immortal Naj was with us tonight. Who's this? Jenan Dominguez. What's cracking? What's popping, sir? By all means, like, share, subscribe. Give us a little bit of love. And Joseph Archer, he's a supernomaniac, and so is Marlon Johnson. You should be too. By all means, like, share, subscribe, and become a supernomaniac. Who else we got? Got to be a couple more heads out there. There's actually a lot. I did say Frank the Tank. Derek Guy was with us too. Thanks for coming through, Derek. Crazy Ace TV coming from the CCP all the way over in Korea. Shout out to you, sir. That's crazy. I didn't even know there was Korean Bears fans like in Korea. Like obviously there's Korean Bears fans in Chicago. But in Korea, that's crazy. That's super hype. Bears down. Shout out to you. Man. Team Kuma, shout out to you as well. Oh, TTNL Runaway. What's this?
I like that one. That must be somebody from your podcast.
Man. You know those guys over there at TTNL, man. You know they hate us, man. I just put it to you like that, man.
Hey, man. Look,
I'm about to put their ass in this draft. They think they know every goddamn.
Oh man!
Look, at this point, I just have to say we all just need to get along. Damn it, that's all I gotta say. Amen. King George, shout out to you too, man. At some point, this damn community will just.
I would love to get along with everybody, but some of these motherfuckers are rat-faced bastards.
Man, Whole family, rats.
Ron Winarski, what it do, Ron? Who else is out there? Gotta be a couple more heads I'm missing, but I think we're just about ready to call it a day, man. Oh, Trapper Keeper was out there for sure. Yeah. Abe Lincoln held it down with us for a little while. Damn, Abe. Ethereal Sanders was in the chat for sure. He'll be joining the network in some capacity, and can't wait to see what that looks like. Black Rain was with us. T3P Podcast was with us.
Hold on. Scrolls talking about I'm gonna read it. He said, I got a wrist injury at work that'll need surgery, so I'll be getting paid 50 to 100K, and I have the spring off in sunny San Diego. Man, if you don't give me a super chat, man, I'm gonna hurt your ass, man. Scrolls, we need some money to pay some bills around here, man.
Stop jerking off at work.
You're playing with me, man. Come on, dog, help us out. Well, go ahead,
Rex Smith, shout out to you, Rex Smith. Speak to the mic, shout out to you as well. Vizzo Joe, my guy Joe Vizzo, what up? Mo Fugra, he's also a super maniac. Thanks for coming through, Mo. And yeah, man, I think that's Jimmy Santilli, my bad, Jimmy, almost missed you. And D Rocket Burns, almost missed you too. And the good minister Charles Johnson. How did I get this far without seeing the minister's name? But shout out to all you guys, man, and shout out to the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Shout out to you, brother, for coming through. Appreciate it,
brother. Yes, sir. Oh, I just want to say one last thing, man. What's up? We gonna do a Bears takeover, man. I know they going to Vegas.
What do you mean by Bears takeover?
Hey, man, y'all ain't never heard of Chicago Bears takeover, where we invade somebody's city and take it over?
Oh, man, I ain't. Kids, when you bring your image down so we can get back on the screen.
Oh yeah, hey, y'all sick of looking at me? Is that what's going on?
We gonna put you in a picture with Bayless Jones beating your ass real soon.
I gotta tell you, I got a good legal team, man. My legal team.
Yeah, my guy Scrolls. My guy Scrolls is.
Scrolls ain't playing.
Hey, man, the money ain't here yet.
Scrolls ain't playing. That 50 to 100 grand is coming in.
That's what I'm talking about, Scrolls. Shout out to Scrolls, man. I was just bullshitting, but damn, that's nice. Appreciate that, man. That's very nice of you, man. But
money ain't here yet, no man.
When he said, "I know it's coming," I ain't worried about it. He go sawbuck for your ass.
That's funny,
man. But listen, man. Shout out to Scrolls again. That was nice of you, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Look, man. Shout out to you, Foulmouth C. And one thing I want to say is Chicago Clubhouse Network, I didn't even know, podcast rather, I didn't know was there until Crooked came on. Crooked pointed it out to me, and I went to the show, and honestly, I loved the content. I went there, and I just enjoyed it, and I was just like, you get people that come around, and you go look at their podcast, you ain't that impressed. Mm-hmm. And the content and the conversation was money. The conversations were money. How the flow went was money. And all I can tell you is, what was told to me by Aldo Gandia, you got to keep the right flow. You got to keep the shit going. And what I saw there was I was impressed by it, man. And, all I would say is keep your foot on the gas, and whatever y'all doing over there, keep doing it, keep adding, keep growing. And anything I know we can do over here on this end of it to help flower that thing, we here for you. Don't worry.
We definitely gonna link, man. We're gonna put some things together, get you guys, some guests as well, blow it up, man. Fuck it, let's blow it up.
Blow this
thing over, man.
Just get out here and do stuff together, and I think we should do more of that. This definitely ought not be your last time, first of many, and we'll come over there, and I definitely will uphold my end of that bargain, man, and come over there and make sure that I got a presence over there, and we can have conversations the same way we had them over here. It's the same everywhere, you know what I mean? So we'll do our part for sure. I want to say this to all the people that came over from the Clubhouse podcast. Welcome to the community. Hopefully you guys hit the subscribe button, because if you liked it over there, you're going to like it over here too, man, because we just real. And people love real in this day and age of the internet, where I was just telling kids this the other day, there's a lot of ways you can invest in this world. There's stocks, there's bonds, there's all kinds of things you can do to, 401ks, all that kind of stuff, man. the thing to me in this day and age is self-investment.
Yes, sir.
How much do you believe in yourself? How much do you believe that you can bring something to the table, and not only for you, make everybody else around you flourish as well? And so I think that's the day and age we're living in real time. I think we're living in the self-investment era. And YouTube is just one of those pipelines to help us do that. And so what I would ask you guys is to make sure that if you enjoy what we do over here and over on Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, make sure you the most important thing is to hit the subscribe button. That just shows people that they're interested in your stuff. But I think the thing that gets left out most of the time is making sure you're sharing the content after the show is over. After you get done looking at a piece of content, share it with somebody who doesn't know about what's going on. So a lot of times it's mostly, it's a lot of people out there. There's millions of Bears fans out there that don't even know these podcasts exist because we don't all do a good enough job of sharing the shit with somebody that we know would enjoy the content. You know what I mean? So I would just ask everybody that came over from your podcast feed to make sure you share the content with people. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like it, and do all that kind of stuff, but share it. Hit your notification bell and just be ready for whenever this stuff comes out, big. Because it was just fun the whole goddamn time.
Man.
Fluid conversation, man. Was it not to you guys? Did you guys have a good time?
I had a blast, fellas. I ain't gonna even front. I had a blast.
It was a great conversation, and honest to God, it flowed from the second we connected at behind the scenes and just continued going all the way through. So again, by all means, come on back, man. You did a great job. We'll do this up again, and I know you got a whole bunch of homies over there because I watched your show a couple of times too. A whole bunch of y'all. And I've been on the Crooked Commission show, doing fantasy football stuff with Superflex, which will eventually be back in business soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But in the meantime, yeah, man, let's definitely connect. We'll do some level of collab for sure.
You see what Mo said? He said the Clubhouse, they just don't get tripped up talking about feet or little people.
Notice Triple R wasn't on the show tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like no Triple R, no feet, no little folks. So
yeah, I see that must be a thing over here.
It's a thing for a specific homie. He's a little bit of a different guy.
Freaky motherfucker, man.
A little bit of a different guy, that guy.
He's freaky, man. He's freaky. But hey, I appreciate everybody for being here, especially you guys. And we love. Like, become a no-maniac. You ain't got to become a super no-maniac, but you got $4.99. And just to be upfront with you guys, just got started kind of getting in the right direction with this website. We're about to put the website. It's going to have all kinds of discounts available for everybody that what happened?
I'm sorry. We just spent the whole time like giving a Triple R disclaimer. And Scrolls is like, "Where's Trips?" You know what I mean? He didn't get he clearly did not get his fill of little people or
You seen the little Kardashians, man? You ever seen the little Kardashians?
Since we had that episode, I can't go upstairs without them being on my television screen. It's bizarre. My wife is glued in, and I'm just laughing to myself, thinking Tiny Town every day now. It's crazy.
Man, she probably don't even know what the fuck you talking about.
She doesn't. She doesn't have any clue what I'm talking about at all. And she's like, where's Tiny Town? And all I can think of is Minister Charles, really, and the Scrolls. I'm like, forget it, babes, and I go back to my office.
I don't even got the shit pulled up in here, but this is the kind of shit we get into with Triple R on the show.
Oh, nah. Not Nasty Nate. No, nah.
Nasty Nathaniel, boy. That's
wow. Man. I ain't never seen that one before. I don't know where that one came from.
I had it wrong. This the mini.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, this one.
Mini Kardashians. Lord have mercy.
I've seen that before.
This is where some extra sauce goes to this level.
Yeah, we get a little bit different on extra sauce. We get a little bit wild.
The mini Kardashians. Wow.
Hey, they kind of holding though, ain't they? Tell the truth now.
Hey, man.
And on that note,
right. right, man. Hey, you know what? That was fun. Let me go and get up out of here because I know everybody got to be tired, man. We've been on here for almost 3 hours now, man, and it was a good time. And I want to say thank you to everybody that was here tonight, from all the Nomaniacs, Super Nomaniacs, and everybody that came over from Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Appreciate you guys. Would love to have you guys as part of our community, as well as over there in their community, man. We'll welcome you with open arms over here. Just hit the subscribe button and come on and jump in. We had hello conversations and about a little bit of everything. We got your flavor over here. You just got to pick the show you like. But with that being said, I appreciate you again, Five Mile C, for coming on here. We're going to do a whole lot more content together, man. I can't close because kids keep on.
I'm sorry, Richard Law's like, you wrong for that.
What is it? Put it up, man.
You just, I just said it. He's just saying. You wrong for that. For the whole mini Kardashians and the Nate thing. You wrong.
Talking about nasty Nate, probably.
You wrong, bro. Jeez.
All right, man. We're gonna get up out of here, man, because my girlfriend is definitely trekking toward the house, and she hated when I'm still on Sunday because she's off tomorrow. But with that being said, thank you again, Five Mile C in Chicago. What is it? Chicago Clubhouse Podcast?
Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, Tuesdays, 8:00 p.m., baby. Check us out.
Hit them up. I'll be over there too, man. So we're going to get together and do a whole lot more podcasting. But with that being said, I want to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.